Happy Friday, my beautiful black geniuses. Welcome to another edition of Freedom Fridays presented to you by the Black Wealth Rebels. And today is going to be a great one. We're talking about sinners. We're talking about the money. We're talking about the blood. And we're talking about everything that's going on with that movie in the black community. But before we get going, me and Jimmy was going at it behind the scenes, y'all. I think the boy want to smack me up a little bit.
No,
but it's all love. It's all love.
Never that.
Oh, and I done messed it up. I got stuff in the screen. What's up, brothers? How y'all doing?
I control, man. Listen, man. Never mess with the product, Camari. Even if you have some wild, ridiculous opinion.
How are you, Jimmy? Before you slander me, can we get going? Before you slander me,
I am amazing right now.
All righty. You had no ribeyes today?
No, I didn't. I got a Chipotle grub today. That's all I got. I mean, little young Chipotle grub. But I'm good though.
All right. What's up, Corey? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm living, so I ain't gonna complain, man. You know, I had one more spring behind me, so I'm good.
Damn, it's spring over?
No, you know, my birthday.
Oh. Matter of fact, my bad.
Yeah, disrespecting the man.
No, I'm not. Stop it.
Happy birthday. You already sold this. You already sold this out last night, but I digress. Go ahead.
I didn't sell you out last night.
You did. No, he was out for your brother's birthday.
I agree with the reasons he wasn't there, man.
No, he dissed this.
I had an emergency. All right. I'm out thousands of dollars right now because of that emergency.
Corey, you take it from all you want to. He dissed this, yo.
Because my gas is off. I got gas problems. I got car problems. What do you want me to do, brother?
Was your gas off the day before?
No, I was on my anniversary, man. But anyway.
No, you were. You were such a. You know what? Go ahead. That's fine.
I did on Monday. On Monday. By the way, everybody that's coming in, did everybody see the movie yet? Did everybody see Sinners?
Yeah,
let us know in the chat.
We saw
that's what Jim's trying to slander me about.
If you have not seen Sinners, this show is not for you. You need to take your ass off the head because we're gonna be all through up and through there, and no pause. We're gonna be all up and through.
Lorraine sent you a happy birthday message on the timeline of Core. I saw a couple folks in the village send Core a message, so you know folks are showing you love out here. Bro.
Happy birthday to Core, man. So what's the anniversary day, man?
Let me see. I'm reading Brittany's comment. She said it's not streaming on By the Hood, which I think it is. Let me see. I mean, you know, somebody try to sabotage the page. I don't know.
Here we go with the slander again.
I'm messing with you. No, it's on there. Brittany, I'm watching it now.
It's you know what? I tried to put it on the Black Wolf Rebels page, but I messed up. So.
How you messed that up?
Because I started arguing with you about nonsense.
I hear that. See, how you blame me for your F-ups, yo?
It's all your fault.
You blame me for your F-ups, dog.
All right, but listen, before we get into the show, I wanted to show everybody something. And I wanted to see y'all thoughts on this. Not that. That's
from the most important, impactful journalist of our time, FOH. Where's that brother Don Johnson at, man? I need somebody to slander this boy for me.
I do feel he's one of the most impactful journalists of our day. Now, I'm not getting off that because you don't have any empirical data to back up your claim.
You don't have any empirical data.
I do.
What's your empirical data?
Because
Corey, you always side with Jim. That's a given.
But that's not what you said.
It's always 2 against 1. Pause.
Oh my God, that's not what you said.
See, listen, Camari likes making victim noises. Pause. But listen to this though.
I'm not making victim noises.
I don't know what impact you have. I mean, shucking and jiving for Hillary Clinton.
I love how you only bring one piece of a thing. You only bring one piece of a thing.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with the statement that's being made. All I'm saying is the statement that was made that he is the most impactful.
I said one of.
No, that's not what you said originally. That is not what you said. That's not what you said.
I meant to say one of.
No, you didn't. Well, you meant to.
I also said,
not what you said.
Okay, I believe I said it could be argued. I didn't say that.
Now, here's my question to you. We're going to talk about empirical data.
No, we're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about the show. Stick to the show.
No, I want to know how you measure that. How do you measure it one way or the other?
Stick to the show. Nobody wants to hear us argue.
I can't prove it, but nor can you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Here we go.
Church is that do.
That's not what I wanted. You got me all confused, man. I blame you.
See?
I blame you, man.
That's because you lying. Right?
Why y'all doing out here in the audience, man? What's really good, man? Let's do an audience check.
I blame Jim, man. I blame Jim.
I know you are.
It's all your fault.
Just like the Yakubian man. Won't blame you.
You ain't right. You ain't right.
I'm
Hey, keep them white bitches
off.
I mean, Terrence, you know I can't resist them white girls when they tickle me like that. I just can't get enough of them.
Yeah, but now your big ass is in trouble, man. Just be lighter. You ain't got to beat the guts up all the time. Be light.
Okay,
Be light.
so what if I just tap him on the shoulder like, hey, white woman, I would like to choke the shit out you while I fuck you.
Nah, Unc, there's black women that like it rough too, but they in your age bracket. Stop fucking around with them white girls.
Well, the black women don't like me because my clothes too tight. But I figured if I stand like Medea when I'm fighting, then that's going to make them like me even more. What do you think about that?
It's a good strategy, Unc, but I think you're still leaving yourself open for them white girls to get inside.
You right, Terrence. Go and show me some more techniques.
Yo, shout out to Avion Crockett, man. I think the boy's a genius, man.
Yo.
You got a problem with that statement, Jim?
If I stand like Medea.
It's looking wild out here. It's looking wild out here for Shannon, dog. And I heard some stuff today. I don't know how true it is because my source is Twitter. But there was some other people in the sports journalism world who were saying that behind the scenes is getting worse because now it's like other people lining up, which is why ESPN kind of like told him to go chill for a minute.
Oh, they did? I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. And he's like allegedly negotiating a buyout of his contract because he need to get some money up because it's other 19 and 20-year-olds that he, allegedly. I don't know if any of this is true, man. But all I know is when you put yourself in position for this to happen.
But I thought that Shay money when he did that interview with Cat Williams got him a whole bunch of money.
What good is it? Like to Corey always
give it all away?
But Corey always says, "Listen, you don't have nothing if you don't have the ability to protect it.
But it ain't yours."
That's why he should have put it in the EI. He should have put it in the universal life. I'm joking. I'm joking.
But my thing is, he did a bad job of protecting it with his actions, right? My man out here dipping his pole and everything moving, and then like
I got a real, I don't even want to call it radical. I have a thought, right, that I want to express, but I'm trying to figure out the proper way to express it because I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Nor am I trying to be judgmental, but it's going to come off as both disrespectful and judgmental. So that's why I'll preface this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So when I look at and I said this last show, it's almost like and no shade to him or all shade, I don't care one way or another. It's like he's almost trying to be a social media influencer. But when I see dudes, right, who are, relatively successful and they're middle-aged that way and they're not married, I kind of look at them sideways, right? I've always talked about marriage and relationships being the cheat code. And not even married necessarily, even a long-term relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, but having that partner, to me, that's how you elevate to the next level, right? And again, the data backs this up. When you look at the most successful people, right? If you want to look at it from a net worth standpoint, from an income standpoint, from a position standpoint, in terms of where they rank hierarchy in their various industries, most of them are married, right? So I do know that it's going to come off crazy, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to some young old head bachelors out there. But if you're like 60 years old and you still out here chasing 19-year-olds. And this ain't really about him personally. It's about other people doing the same thing. I kind of look at him sideways, bro. Something's wrong. And that's just me. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
The data I'm going to use to back it up is when you look at this, what's quote unquote by society standards, but even outside of society standards, most people I know that are successful in any space. I don't care if you're an educator. I don't care if you do anything, work for the sanitation department, right? People that at that next level, they always got that person, So that's just me. I mean, maybe y'all feel differently. But
what do you think, Cor?
I think the numbers back what Jim is saying, but also the numbers also back up that it's a lot of scamming going on both sides. So I'm not saying, I'm not saying that Jim is wrong because all the numbers back up what he's saying. But I don't think marriage is for everybody, man. That's
why I changed it and said a long-term relationship. But because I know people that aren't married, right? And I know they may not even live in the same household, but they got their person, and everybody knows who their person is. You know what I'm saying? They got that that they can. You know what I'm saying? But that's why it's kind of weird. Like I think about the fact that you're almost 60 and you want to be in the love cave of a 19-year-old, like outside
the love cave.
outside of just being explicit. what else are y'all conversing? What kind of energy are y'all sharing outside of
So you mean to tell me a 19-year-old can't be a soulmate for a 60-year-old?
They can, but for what? Like, what would bring? What conversation do you have? Like, as a 55-year-old,
she could be mature. They say women are more mature than men.
Listen, man,
what are y'all 19 and 60?
Y'all are 19 and 60, right? What could y'all possibly have in common besides sexual energy?
That's it.
That's it. There's nothing else y'all can have in common unless y'all was like, y'all both survived the plane crash or some crazy shit. Like, what the fuck do y'all got in common? Like what is, like, seriously, like, if you got 60 years of life experience and the other person got 20, what do y'all have in common besides sexual energy?
Oh, that means that he's like 41 when she's born. That means that the majority of our audience right now who's watching this, your soulmate may not have been born yet.
No, bro. And listen, what's crazy, I say the same thing about Hugh Hefner. I say the same thing about, like, what's the boy who just had the like De Niro? He just had like a baby, and he's 80. He like 80. You know what I mean? Like,
but everybody want to talk about Nick Cannon.
No, but I'm just saying the boy just had a baby at 80. What's the Isley brother? The Isley brother just had a baby. You on tour? You 85 years old having babies, bro? Like, what's wrong with you?
All I'm saying is this, right? The point I'm making is that, like, it's just weird, right? There's something about, like, the idea of being with someone. Like, so for instance, right, when you do business with someone, and this plays itself out all across the world, right? If someone has a family, right, it's why people walk around and say, I'm a family man, because that has a certain level of value. Because in all sorts of situations, whether we're talking about politics or business, what you feel like that person has something to lose, right? If you out here acting like a bastard and running around trying to be an influencer, you damn near 60, it's this kind of wild. Like, you're putting yourself in spaces and sharing energy with people who are like a third of your age. That, to me, it just says something else about whatever is missing there. And I'm not a psychologist, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving my perspective. It's just sad, man. But today's show will not be sad, man, because I'm excited to get into the topic of today's show.
We're gonna get to it. I got one more thing I want to show.
Okay, you got more things from the niggaverse, but go ahead, let's go.
It is, but but I want to know, what do y'all think about this? Can someone be someone's soulmate? 19 to 60? I mean, I agree with Jim. I don't think it is, but I do see a lot of people co-signing this behavior, which I don't get, but it is what it is at this point.
I'm not talking about this in general. A lot of times people co-sign crazy behavior, right? Is because they're like, yo, if I get caught, I want somebody to co-sign my nonsense, right? So I'm gonna co-sign this nonsense. That's what that's about. Or
they really do want to be that person. Like, we got a lot of celebrity worship, and it's kind of weird to me, but it is what it is.
That's American. It's not just American, right? But I've been in different countries, multiple continents, and our celebrity worship is different than everywhere else.
Correct. Because everybody does some form of popularity contest.
Some form, but it's not like here though. Here is different.
Right. But all right, I wanted to show this, and I wanted to get your opinion, and we're going to get to the Sinners Talk real quick.
I know a black church that does 100 million. I'll start there.
Right.
But it's a whole bunch of white churches that do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I think this is powerful because
how much money do you think Charles Stanley made?
Definitely a lot. The whole Stanley family, they undeniably they're good. Yeah. So, but I think like
let's not run by that. No, I'm serious. Think on record, important. Charles Stanley was an amazing teacher.
Yeah.
Amazing man of God, amazing leader. And there's no discussion about how much money he makes, where he lives, what the estate is worth, or that the Stanleys were the largest distributors of Amway in the country, and they did it under the ministry. So nobody talks about the Stanley headquarters that is more than 2 blocks off the highway. Come on now. Yeah. But how many stories about what Jake's drive?
Yep.
Where Jake's live. Come on now. The inequity, we're going back to it. I know you're trying to run from this racism thing, but the inequity of the racism in America sees itself over and over and over again. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not in any way thrown off. I had no idea how much money Jensen Franklin makes. It's not on my mind. And I'm not saying he's done anything illegal or immoral. I'm saying to you, it's not a conversation. I'm saying to you, it is always a conversation in blackface.
All right, so is there a double standard? I see Corey's got the double hands up. He's ready to push back.
Corey,
so come on, Corey. Come on, Corey.
Every time you give Corey a platform to slander a church, you get ready to let go.
Come on, Corey. What we got, baby?
Man, he full of shit. Yo, and let me tell you why. Because them white people ain't getting their money from fucking black people. Them black people is giving their money to black people. So I don't give a fuck what them white people is doing over there, because all that money is coming from their white congregations. You know what I mean? You taking money out of the hands of black folks. And yeah, you damn right I'm pocket watching, because you're supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like, churches are supposed to be community based. And so if one man is standing above the community, then that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
What he said has no bearing to you.
All right, let me say a couple things, right? So I disagree with Corey just a little bit, right? Just a little bit, because I do think that, so two things can be true. I think what Corey's saying is true, but I still think it is a double standard, right? I think it's a double standard in every space that we operate. We get looked at differently than others, right?
Correct.
I don't care if we're talking about the church. We could be talking about taxes. We could be talking about real estate.
Yeah. I thought that was a given. So I didn't even consider it, because I thought it was a given.
Listen, even when it comes to our criminals, even our criminal element gets treated and looked at different than their criminal. Their criminal element gets kind of like romanticized and organized.
They make movies of it. They make movies.
So it's like, so at every standpoint there is a double standard, but that doesn't mean what Corey says is wrong either, though, because I think we spend way too much time, and when I say we, I mean us as a culture and community, thinking about what they do, right? I don't care what they do. I don't care what that pastor has either, because I don't think about them. I'm thinking about, how do I push us forward? How do I help us have more resources? So I can't think about what they're doing, because I already know the double standard exists. Like Corey said, that's a given, right? So that's always going to be a given, but that doesn't mean that you should be able to pillage and plunder, because you didn't say that, we're right. You said that if I'm wrong, he's wrong too. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what are we doing here? But the thing about it is, listen, shout out to Pastor Jamal Bryant.
Listen, I'm not saying.
Let me say one thing more. He often says things and exaggerates points and says just incorrect things to go viral on the internet. And I still have no shade for him, because I I think that he means well.
But he was just shady right there. Go ahead.
No, I think he means well, but we gotta like, have our stuff rooted in truth. So I think two things can be true at the same time. And Camari, you didn't get the way in.
Listen, man, and I'm gonna say this with all the due respect I can possibly muster, because my dad's a pastor, and I know a pastor that comes on this show every week that's about the people. The great vast majority of pastors are full of shit, and because they in it for selfish reasons. Like I'm gonna keep it a thigh while they in it for selfish reasons, right? And because we all know how the grift go. They go from whatever they was grifting at, then they get caught, and then they find God, and then they become pastors. And it's the wave, it's the move, because then they get the stink off their name by becoming pastors and getting into the church, and then they
God.
Then they move the grift from one thing to the other, man. Like, so, like, and you can tell me that I'm bull. You can say that I'm slandering religion, because I am, because I don't give a damn about nobody's religion. And this is not. I really don't care. Like, you can.
I got you. I'm just saying. So I know a handful of great pastors.
What I'm saying to you is that I don't like the grift when it comes to my people. I don't really care how those. Like, I never cared about what's the boy who started Oral Roberts, the boy who started Oral Roberts University, or the other boy, all of the white preachers that used to come on at 2:00 in the morning, Peter Popoff and all the rest of them boys. I never cared about none of them.
All right, cool. So let me
let Camari get his bars. I want to see
jump on. So I agree with both of y'all too. What I will say, I'm leaning more towards Jim, but I'm gonna say this: y'all can both say that y'all don't care about what those other people do.
No.
But our people will use other people's examples to trash our people. So we have to pay attention to the narratives that are formed. And a lot of times, a lot of times we will say the same dumb shit that a lot of people say. All pastors got Cadillacs. All pastors got Maybachs. They don't. I'm talking about the black ones. Mm-hmm. But everybody thinks about it. But nobody wants to talk about the other side. I'm talking about black folks now. Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
I mean, I'm looking at Miss Edie's kitchen comment, and I'll say this. I'll say this. I said I don't care. I didn't say we don't care. We as a people care too much about bullshit, right? Like we as a people care too much, right? Because the thing about a lot of things, especially religion, and religion is a personal thing, right? And so when I say I don't really care about nobody's religion, I'm really talking about religions of the world in general, right? Because religion is supposed to be your relationship with yourself and your God. And then, so that to me is none of my business. But when you use that platform to grift, it grinds my gears, because that is the way that's the way it was set up for our people. And I'm not going to leave it there. But it's systemic and it's systematic, and I don't like the way that's set up for our community.
So when I spoke about not caring about what a lot of them do, I don't care about what they do, because I understand Camari's point about how things we point at them and look at what they do to kind of model our behaviors a lot of times. But I think we also do it in terms of justifying things.
Modify,
So sometimes, so we have to come to grips with, like, you know, we have to move a certain way. We have to be on code and move a certain way, and we can't think because again, you talk about like things being equitable and fair, but here's the reality: things aren't equitable and fair in terms of our treatment on this continent. So once we understand that, we can stop. Like, in the words of Bill Russell, man, Bill Russell says that you know when you do right and you know when you do wrong. And what a lot of times, like, not saying that's what he's doing, but I've seen pastors do this. They don't say that what I'm doing is right. They say, well, he's doing it wrong. So if you want to come at me, come at him too. It's like, I'm not thinking about how I'm talking to you, right? Because you think that things are equitable on this continent, and things aren't equitable on this continent. And also, to Corey's earlier point, you're not taking from the people that I care about. Like, those folks aren't taking from the people I care about. They're taking from their own. So, you know, it is what it is, man. Listen, I just want people to do good work. I do know pastors doing great work. I know pastors in Philadelphia who are doing great work, who are feeding the homeless.
Amazing work.
Who are, you know, stopping violence. So listen, one of my heroes, Leon Sullivan, was a pastor, right? So there are pastors that have put in work historically and currently. So I would never demonize all of them. But what I will say is, like, they're also a contingent of that space that also want to be social media influencers. So, and they behave that way.
Social media has impacted the whole world, infecting the whole world.
It impacts the church, it impacts the music, it impacts the underworld and everything.
All right, so Ms. Edie says she's not here for all this. She's here for the center discussion.
Let's get to it.
So let's get to it. I want to start with this, y'all.
Okay, come on.
All right, so I know a lot of people are saying Sinners is a vampire movie. It's not a vampire movie. It's a black love story, y'all. Many of y'all might not get it, but it's way deeper than some vampires or some fantasy. There's social commentary. There's black love. I mean, and the deal for Ryan Coogler is through the roof. But we'll get to it.
Yo, I hear people do what you just did. Y'all ain't gonna get this. Like, you don't know what nobody gonna get. Now, I hate when people do that. But anyway, listen.
Did you get it?
That drives me crazy too. But I my business.
Can we salute our folks before we get deep into the discussion? Can we salute our folks though?
Let's just salute everybody.
I want to salute everybody that, you know, because I know Erica's here. You know what I'm saying? Miss Edie is here. Hey, ho, Lance, what's good?
Hey.
Lance got low for a long time. Happy Friday, Lance.
What's going on?
I gotta give you a call just to check in on you and see how the baby and everything is doing.
See, I did that already, Jim.
Yeah, now for that you just want me to feel worse. Now you make me feel worse.
Yeah, you should feel worse.
Shelby, what's good? Listen. Salute to Shelby. Me, Shelby, and Dina was cooking this week in the chat. A couple of days ago, I think it was yesterday. We was whooping on the markets. So Shout out to Shelby, you know what I mean? And Dina was in there trading with me. Can't stay since y'all talking about that movie and don't want to ruin it for me. I respect that. Cedric, what's up, Cedric?
Well, we told you there's going to be some spoilers. We told y'all that up front.
Cedric. Jamil, what's really good?
What up, bro?
Yeah, like
we see. Listen, he's saying happy born day to you, Corey.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And I know I talked about this earlier, so it is on the YouTube page. At least
let's get all up and through there.
Yeah. Chad, Dr. Chad is in the building. What's good?
Hey,
he's ready for the chat. I respect that. It wasn't first. Thank you. All right, salute, Aunt. What's good? She was pausing Camari. I don't know if she was. I'm just.
No, I said pause, so she was saying pause.
I'm just being smart, though. You know, listen. That's how you know.
I know how you do,
listen,
man.
But I'm a great friend, though, right? Because you know, great friend.
It depends on the day.
So Jamil says, "Is Sinners sort of a somewhat black version of From Dusk Till Dawn?"
No, it's a black love story.
It's way deeper than that.
I mean, you know, it's Kamari says y'all wouldn't understand, but I'm joking. All right, happy Friday, Cookie. Was good. Ray Gun says blessings to the chat. Ray Gun, salute the Ray Gun. Ray Gun always supports, appreciate the brother. Callan Calher got a huge chunk of Shannon's YouTube money. He's paid, but not that paid. That's what you're saying. LaJoy is in the building. Cola's here. What's up, LaJoy?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, what else we got? We got all right, it just jumped on me, but there we go. Here we go. Getting married is a force multiplier if you find the right one. Anthony, I co-sign it at 1,000%.
If
yeah, heavy on if you find the right one, because you find the wrong one.
Heavy on the if.
Yeah, I mean we switching from multiplication to division. Like we switching. We find the wrong one.
The sign changes from multiplication to division.
Good one, John.
The math might change on you. You know what I'm saying? Frontal lobe was underdeveloped at 19. That's a great point, Miss Edie. Your frontal lobe's not even fully developed. You know what I'm saying? And you out here with a 60-year-old.
I mean, but we could also question did the frontal lobe ever develop in a 60-year-old either? Can it be stifled? Especially getting all them football hits. CTE
someone said that somewhere in the chat. Cookie says she's a kid. 19 is a child that's inappropriate. The actor is the one from The Godfather. Yeah, Al Pacino. Al Pacino.
Oh,
well, both were in The Godfather. Both of them also had kids.
But I think they both, yeah.
they both out there. That's them legacy money shots, pause. So this is what Ray Gun says. Sharp has had 2 hip surgeries, multiple other injuries, might have CTE, and to give up millions to a 20-year-old for a fun time. Discipline is key. That last part is absolutely true. Discipline is key.
All that whole statement is facts, but that last part make the whole rest of the statement amplified.
We've seen the effects of CTE.
Yeah.
There ain't no discipline with CTE, bro.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And I'm not saying he is. I'm not trying to make no excuses for him. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Also, he was talking about the other one about the pastors, the N-word. I didn't know that about the N-word distributors either.
Right. So they use the pulpit to enrich themselves.
To move that product.
Hey, listen, that sounds like a pretty ingenious way to move an MLM. I mean, to someone say church is an MLM, but I digress.
Just saying.
You've never heard of him being with any woman until it was all over social media that he was in the same-sex relationships. Next thing you know, there was sex tapes was leaked with some women. He's trying to prove something.
I don't think so, man, because he got allegations going back to like 2003.
Ain't Jamal Bryant's church growing weed now? I have no idea what.
I don't really care about that.
I didn't see his online activity. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. I didn't see his online activity.
Listen, man, if the church is on top of being a space where people congregate to share their religious energy, it's a business, right? Because
isn't he the one that was just on the internet a couple weeks ago talking about Michael Jackson didn't have no will?
Yeah, he did.
No,
that was him too.
No,
it wasn't him.
Who was that?
That was Shawny O'Neal's husband.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
What's Shawny O'Neal's husband?
All we had to do was look at Courtney video because
Courtney did it.
It's on her video.
Well, no, keep going.
No, that wasn't. That was Pastor Brian. Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, that was him too. Which wasn't even true, but that was Pastor Brian. Because Pastor Brian's also the one behind Target, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was him.
Hey, listen.
He's community-based. He sends students to universities, fed and feeds people since the pandemic. New Birth supports the community. Okay. I mean, I don't know anything. All I know is his internet behavior, which is, sometimes troubling. Charles Stanley has plenty of ethnic people in his church. I don't even know who Charles Stanley is. I know who Morgan Stanley is, not Charles Stanley.
I know who he is.
I know.
He's old time.
I know Charles
Schwab. Money for a
is.
long time.
Okay.
Charles Stanley been getting money for a long time.
I know Charles Schwab and Morgan Stanley. You related to any of them?
He been getting money for a long time.
Hey, listen. I just looked his name up. They say in 2024 he made $500,000. So and he's old. Jesus doesn't like the megachurch preacher's actions. Demon says there's always good and bad in every space, place, and race. There are weeds in everybody's yards. Ooh, I like that. There are weeds in everybody's yards. Gotta feed the grass and starve the weeds. All right, Dina's out here preaching today. You know what I mean? I sent some donations to Dina tonight. She's preaching right now. So, are you going to do spoilers? I'm not even going to lie to you, Ray Gun. I'm not even going to lie to you, bro.
Absolutely, sir.
It's all love and respect. We probably going to spoil some ish. I ain't even going to hold you. I'm not even going to hold you.
Yeah.
Because I'm too excited to talk about this movie. Some of the mega church preachers probably, Lorraine let you know.
Yeah. Yes.
You haven't seen it. Yeah. I'm just being honest with you, right? Gotta be honest with you.
No, no. You know what I mean? We love you, Ray Gun, but yeah, we about to spoil some ish.
And Simon, I saw the movie yesterday, as did me and Corey. Camari sold us out. But anyway, I saw the movie yesterday. My favorite scene was in the juke joint where all the different genres of music was conjuring. It was very powerful, but I'm going to give this movie a 2.5. Damn! Hold on. 2.5 out of what, though? Out of 3?
Out of 3?
Out of 2.6?
I don't care what it is. It's not good. Even if it's a 5, that means it's 50%. That's
it. What if it's out of 3, though?
It's not out of 3. Stop playing.
All right.
You know it's not out of 3.
Good evening. Good writing. Set the setting.
What up, Lewis?
It was very vampire-y, by the way.
It was only okay.
The vampires ain't come into the second half of the movie.
Kamari called this unrefined heathens. He really did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Y'all not gonna understand.
I didn't. The only one I called unrefined heathen is Jimmy. That's it.
What I do? In my 50 Cent voice, I know. What's that about? All right, that guitar was something. That guitar was fire. Rich, what's really good, Rich?
Here.
Yeah, I'm saying. Speaking of Lance, whatever happened to Jose and Sherry? Listen, Sherry got talked to. It was last year.
Yo, yeah, where's Jose at?
Jose, I do gotta follow Jose and check in on Jose because I ain't heard from Jose in a minute. I gotta check in on Jose.
He's usually a part of our camp every summer.
Yeah, he is. I gotta check in on him. He's part of everything.
Check in on Jose.
Is it really a black love story? I've heard so much about demonic imagery. I am cautious about seeing the movie. I've seen that, and after I saw it, I was like,
so those people who told you it was demonic, they are not lying. And
it's not demonic. It's not demonic.
No. She said demonic imagery. There is a lot of demonic imagery. But let me say this, and this is a person as a PK, as a pastor. This is demonic imagery all up and through the Bible. So you want to talk about demonic imagery? But I'm just saying, it's all up and through. So, if you've read the Bible, there's demonic imagery all through there. But what I'm saying to you is it's a visual demonic imagery on the screen. Yes.
So here's the question. How do you
hold on, Jim. So I said it was a black love story. I still stand on that. Demonic imagery was used to tell the story, but I wouldn't say it was a demonic movie. Because you got to be careful with that. Because people will say demonic imagery, it was a demonic movie. No, it wasn't. It was truly a black love story. But go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say that. How do you define the demonic imagery? Because it did have demonic imagery. If we're being completely honest, it had that. Doesn't mean that it's a demonic movie, right? And that's what you said. But I haven't heard anyone say it's a demonic movie, but I did see people say it has a lot of demonic imagery. And a lot of people don't even want to participate in watching anything with demonic imagery, even if it's used to tell a narrative. Let's see. So Miss Edie says, "Isn't everything a business?"
It is. Even marriage. Even marriage.
About, yes. Oh, for sure. Just about. Yeah.
Anthony Bolton, and what up? And says that Michael Jackson definitely had a will. I mean, not according to Pastor Bryant, but I mean, that ain't what Pastor Bryant.
Well, that's why we don't listen to unqualified people.
Whoa! You cooking?
Well, he's not, in that area. He's not qualified.
He's not qualified. He's not qualified. And that's a big problem that we have in the black community. We're listening to all the wrong motherfuckers. Excuse my language. but not excuse my language.
So Lance says the last time I spoke with Jose, he was good. I speak with Sharika often. She's great. She keeps a very low profile these days. Yeah. That's how I got to
get it.
Stay low, keep firing. Ray Gun said, "Yeah, Ray Gun, it's all love, bro.
We love you too, bro. We'll see you next week."
2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, you ain't showing Ryan Coogler enough love.
No, listen, I don't get mad at anybody's rating.
Jordan, Delroy Lindo, all man.
To me, that's fine. Listen, Simon, listen, that's your opinion.
We still got love for you, though.
Yeah, because to me, all art is subjective.
But that, we can love you and hate your opinion.
Yeah, all art is subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can love you and still hate your opinion. Yeah, I mean,
like Camari thinks that Roland Martin is a genius and loves him, and I don't have that opinion, but it doesn't mean that I discount Camari.
We still love.
So listen, we're going to do a show.
Camari has
we're going to do a show on this. We're going to do a show on this, but let's stick to the point.
Okay, my wife's grandma is from Alabama, born in 1932. And watching the movie brought memories of the stories she would tell us about the Deep South. It all made sense.
Listen, my dad is from Alabama and still lives there. And those stories live. And listen, and my dad is the youngest of 11. And so my dad's 70. And so he's the youngest of 11. So you can imagine all my aunts and my uncles and my, like, when my grandparents on my dad's side died when I was a very young child, because again, like I said, my dad was the youngest of 11. So my grandparents on his side were very, very old.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So they died when I was like 5 and 6. Like my grandpa died, and then my grandmom died when I was like 6. So, you know what I mean? Like, so you can imagine the stories that they had, you know what I mean? And then the stories my aunts, my uncles, and my dad would tell me, man. Yeah, it all makes sense, man.
And it's all going on. But Jimmy sent me this clip, so I want to share this with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The scene of this movie, the music scene where Preacher Boy's music tears the veil. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Where it tears the veil and music is pulled from the past to the present, from the future to the present, connected back to Africa. When I tell you, I could have stood up and incinerated. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in a film. As a Black person, I could have cried. As a Black American, I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe this is doing too much. As a Black American, we always get, y'all don't know y'all culture, even from other people across the diaspora. I don't want to start another war, but we always get, y'all don't know y'all history. Y'all don't know what tribe y'all come from. Y'all don't know who y'all don't know. Nothing. You don't know if you're Nigerian, whatever, from Ghana. We get that a lot. And the music connecting back to our roots, I said, yo, I could have cried, because even though we were stolen and placed on stolen land, we found community. And even without being able to go back to where we were originally from, our music, our culture, our bodies, our history, we still find ways to connect to our natural ancestral homeland. And that scene conveyed that in a way that I have never seen in film. I feel like for Black people and for African people, this ain't just for us, but as a Black American, it hit a little different. I had never felt so seen in a scene, no pun intended. It was so beautifully shot. I ain't gonna hold you. This is no hyperbole. I feel like God himself gave Ryan Coogler the vision for that scene. That scene is his scene. That is as much of a directorial stamp as Spike Lee's, double dolly shot, as anything Scorsese has done, as Francis Ford Coppola's Godfather. Sinners is on that level, and that scene pushes it to that level. It should be talked about in film schools. Instant classic, 5 mics. It was beautiful.
5 cameras. Not 5 mics. 5 cameras.
I'll say this. He's done that twice. Because Black Panther.
I would say he did it more than twice, but yeah, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is I'm talking about with the beautiful imagery and scenery depicting black people, because he did the same thing with Black Panther. Because I didn't really like Black Panther, the actual movie. I thought it was kind of fugazi, but the imagery, the actual the little Easter eggs he left in there, like I like the way I like his directorial style. I like the way that he connects things together for black people. Like, I like, because he did the same. He did the same thing in Black Panther, where he had the scene with the young boy on the basketball court, and he was in linking that with Wakanda, the young boy in Black America, and with the link to Wakanda. So,
Corey, I'm gonna tell you why you love his photography, right? It's black. That movie was black.
Yeah,
Wakanda was black. Even Fruitville Station, they're black. And if you haven't seen his work, it might be kind of hard to understand or identify. But he always figures out a way to tie it back in.
He connects different parts of the diaspora.
Correct. And that's what they did in this movie, right? You had Africa, you had Haiti, you had America, all of it, and it all blended in to one beautiful melting pot.
Yeah, he just shot himself up to my favorite director, because this is my fourth, my third movie that I've seen of his. I've probably seen more, but the three memorable ones are Fruitville Station, Black Panther, and this one. And for me, I've never seen anything as beautiful as Black Panther in this movie. Like, this movie was shot beautifully, like absolutely captured. Whatever it was that he was trying to capture, he captured it. He was trying to convey messages. His messages were conveyed clearly to me. And I can understand why some people, and this is pun intended, it tickles their demons. Because it's meant to, right? For me, it didn't tickle any demons, because I understand and reconcile the same way he does. So it made perfect sense to me. But for people who do not reconcile the way that with the worldview that Mr. Coogler was trying to convey, it's going to make you very, very uncomfortable. And it should.
All right, Jim. What you got?
So for me, I think the highest compliment that I can give any piece of art, regardless of the medium, is that it made me think and it made me feel.
Yep.
So ever since we saw this movie, even leaving the theater last night, we sat around for like 20 minutes, just like kind of like in shock and talking about it. I lost sleep last night thinking about it.
I did also.
So it's like I'm still processing everything I saw. And it doesn't matter whether people think that it's a great movie or not, because the thing about art is all art is subjective. But because there's like albums and movies that people consider classics and love, and I'm like, I never want to see it, and it's trash, right?
Yeah.
But then there's things that I love. But that's the great thing about art. And the reason I say any medium, when I was in Amsterdam recently, and I was at the Van Gogh Museum, right, and I'm walking around looking at all his work.
Stunt 101.
Here you go. So as I'm doing this, right, and I understand what he means in the grand scheme of things in art, but some of his stuff to me is like, yo, that's trash. But then there were certain pieces where I found myself standing there for several minutes because it made me feel. And I say that to say that that's what great art, in my opinion, does, right? Yep. There's certain books, right? I remember when all of us, like, we read, the Good Sisters book a couple years ago, and
Isabel Wilkerson, Cash.
We read Cash. We all was sitting there like, okay,
I still think it's one of the top 5 books ever written.
Yeah, so it's like when you have art, and that's why I said any medium, and it makes you feel something. I think that's the highest form of flattery that you can give to anyone who creates art. Now, is it the perfect film? Probably not, but it doesn't have to be, because to Corey's point,
what is a perfect film, though?
I don't think it exists.
It doesn't exist.
Booty Talk 52. Outside of that, it doesn't exist. So here's the thing, right? I'm not even going to sit here and say that I caught everything that he was trying to convey.
I gotta see it again.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Because there are things that I've been thinking about, and it's like, oh damn, and I'm just catching on to it now. It's almost like I remember the first time I heard Paid in Full, I said, damn, this is dope. And I remember 20 years later listening to it and catching the line and being like, whoa, what did he just say?
It's been a long time.
I think that's going to be one of these things for me. And the crazy part is I saw what Simon said in the chat about the actors. I don't think, right? Now, let me say this before you get kind of offended. I don't think Michael B. Jordan is that great of an actor, right?
He's not.
Now, I think he was brilliant in this, though. This is
perfectly cast for this.
This is the best I've ever seen his performance. And I'm hoping to see, like, moving forward, whether he's just, like, hit another stride in terms of his ability. But I see a difference in him in this versus everything that I've seen him previous to this. I think everybody killed it. I think Delroy Lindo is brilliant and doesn't get enough credit.
You kill him with thunder, man. You kill him.
That brother is brilliant. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of that man.
Before you go, who was your favorite character? Do y'all have a favorite character?
I do.
Honestly, it's the sister from Lovecraft Country. His
the one who he had who
the
gave
baby.
him the amulet.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I say this is a black love story is because they also highlighted the power of black women. Right? They were not shy.
She spoke love and life into that man, and like
when
when I was watching that scene and I was looking around, I was like, yo, that's probably the most powerful thing that happened in the whole movie. Like the way she spoke love and life into that man right then and there. Like that first scene when they were together after they went to pick up whatever they were picking up, they had made went to the
scene when they reconnected.
Yeah.
When he went to saw the baby's grave.
Yeah, and then when he came in and they were having their discussion, and she said, "Who says I wasn't praying for you for the whole time you were there? Who says you wasn't protected?"
And that was a love story. That was a black love thing. Crazy. That was a voodoo thing, if you understand what I'm talking about. Because she was really into voodoo, whichever way you want to pronounce it.
She was into with
African spirituality.
She was into African spirituality, but with Christian people or Muslim people would call the occult.
Right. Which, yeah. But but from that character, right? I got all that, and I agree with you. But I also got the sense that she was strong and was to thy own self be true.
Yep.
She was like, I'm gonna love you, but I'm not going to not live my life because of what you're doing. And I think that's a message a lot of people, sisters included, could really learn from, men too, really learn from and really get benefit from. I thought her character was beautiful, but I don't know if I can. Delroy was probably my favorite. If I had to,
I knew that's where you were going with that, and initially I thought about it, but again, this is me sitting up in the middle of the night thinking about this damn movie. I think she was my favorite character. Initially, I was going to say Delroy, but I think she's
easily my favorite character. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the Delroy Lindo character.
Okay.
I don't like it at all. I didn't like the way it was cast at all. But I understand. It was necessary, but I don't like the way it was cast.
So to me, I look at it a little different, right? And this is why I said this is also only one of the movies where my opinion is probably going to change a gazillion times as I process more and more of what's going on. But the idea of the movie being called Sinners, right? And what I saw unique about Delroy Lindo is when you meet him, he's out here talking about like he's a full sinner, but he embraces the fact that he's a sinner. He's not.
Oh, for sure.
He's not hiding it. This is who I am. You know what I'm saying? Give me my beers and let's get it moving. Like, so to me.
So the characters, I think the characters were representations of the 7 deadly sins, which is why the movie is called Sinners.
And what's the 7 deadly sins, Corey?
Dylan. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm
gluttony, guilt.
Gluttony, lust, murder. Damn, I'm trying to think because the last time I thought about the 7 deadly sins was the movie 7, which is also one of my favorite movies.
So lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride.
Yep,
and they were all in there,
all represented.
And I never heard anybody say that before, Corey. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, I think
they probably won't be any good piece of art they should all be in, right? Whether it was.
But what I'm saying is I think that's why the movie was called Sinners, because the representation of all of those things was there.
I think so. Here's the thing. But here's the other thing about a great piece of art. I don't disagree with that at all. But I feel like there's other reasons that the movie could be called Sinners too. When you look at the juxtaposition of the blues versus the church, right?
Yep.
And he continuously telling him that he's out there doing the devil's music and he's sinning and this, that, and the third. And they kept on this contrast.
He told them your demons are
up.
going to catch you, and your demons are going to catch you.
Yeah.
And the devil did show up.
So I think there's a lot of different reasons, and it's funny because before seeing the movie, I saw an interview with Coogler, a small piece of it because I didn't want to ruin the movie. He didn't give any spoilers anyway, but what he said was he ingests a lot of art, whether that's hip hop, whether it's movies, whether it's these things, and sometimes, right? Because they were asking him about, you go on the internet, people got all these wild things that they believe the movie to be, and he says sometimes it's right, sometimes it's things that he didn't think of, and sometimes that is what he meant, but he didn't even realize himself that he meant it, right? Sometimes his subconscious kicks in and these things will exist in his art that he didn't realize. Like, man, he said, for instance, one of the things he talked about is like through the pandemic, falling in love with, say, Nipsey Hussle's art, right? And someone had watched this movie and was like, it's crazy. Those two characters remind me of Black Sam and Nipsey. And what he said was, I wonder if I subconsciously did that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I did that.
I can see that though. I can see. I never thought, but I can see that.
He said, I didn't consciously do that, but I was listening to a lot of Nipsey around the time when I started doing it. So maybe subconsciously, this is kind of what, came across. But I say that to say that when you look at the idea of it being called Sinners, there's a number of reasons throughout the film that you can point to it being called Sinners. But Corey's point is an excellent point. And, to me, it's definitely the best movie I saw this year. But then as I think about it, I only saw 2 movies this year. I saw G20 and this. So, it is what it is.
So let's do this real quick. Let's catch up on a couple of comments.
Yep.
Jigga, we got that. As Simon says, it's the same scene I recanted. It was spiritual, so of course it would conjure the devils, the vampires, etc. Okay. Zori, what up, Zori? I haven't seen it. SMH Sunday. I'm going to it. All right. Zori is an amazing chef in the Philadelphia area.
Holy
congratulations to you.
Zori Cooks. Did Zori do that drop that I had last time?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Shout out to Zori Salmon, yo. Zori Salmon is fire.
Hold on, Jim. I need you to do something for me. Say that again, please.
Yo, I want to shout out Zori Cooks. I didn't even realize that, but Zori Cooks, listen, you have some of the best salmon, and that's salmon, not salmon, as some of y'all say, that I've ever tasted, yo. Your salmon is proof of a higher power, so I just want to make sure I give you a shout out because I now believe in a higher power because I tasted the salmon that you prepared. So, your art is food, so continuously create your art, beloved.
Yes, he is. And Zori always supports. He always comes through. All right, Don's in the building. So, Don, I know Don saw the movie. Don was giving it five cameras early on, so shout out to Don.
Listen, man, he definitely did. I still believe that Delroy Lindo was LeBron James' dad. And he told at a young age that he doesn't want him to have the pressure of living up to the Lindo name. He became LeBron James.
They gangs in the building.
Gang.
Before this, Michael B. Jordan was in low-skill roles outside of Black Panther. I don't know if Fruitvale Station I would call a low-skill
It's
role.
not.
But he didn't have a lot. And also before this, the Creed, he did the Creed.
Creed is trash.
Yeah, but it did a lot in the box office. So that's part of the reason why Coogler is able to do what he wants to do and get these checks. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Because the deal is phenomenal, y'all. The deal is phenomenal.
That lady was practicing witchcraft, but Black people think it's evil. Roger, she was the best character. Yeah,
for sure.
But was it really witchcraft? And I mean, listen.
See, witchcraft gets a negative connotation and moniker.
Correct.
And witchcraft is craft, literally, like being good at conjuring. That's what witchcraft is.
But are they really witches though? So a lot of times they're not necessarily witches. I mean, they're doctors. But
I'm just saying it gets labeled as witchcraft, and because of our puritanical upbringing, witchcraft gets a negative moniker because that's what the Puritans labeled people who they wanted to kill.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah. Would have liked for the native scene to be a bit larger, and the story was slow AF. I didn't like that at all. I'm sorry, guys. It was just some character development issues for me. So for me, the native scene is one of the best scenes, and I'm glad that it wasn't longer because they basically was like, "Yo." I was thinking about
like, listen.
I was thinking about this last night.
The boy is with y'all. He said, "I pray for y'all," and then my man was like, and then his homie was like, "Yo, we gotta rock before they, you know."
He
was like, "I'm gonna try to help you." Crazy part is they saw the white robe. And they was like, look, but we still gonna try to help you, right? So here's the thing. This is what's going on. Oh, you cool? All right. I ain't gonna sit here and beg you. I'm out. I think
and I think there's a lesson.
The natives trying to protect the land. The natives trying to protect the land was a powerful, powerful message done in a 45-second clip.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was one of the more impactful scenes to me personally, and it was like less than a minute because I told my wife last night, I said, I'm moving like a native for the rest of my life. I ain't arguing with folks.
But I also give
what it is, and then I'm moving. I'm out.
But I also give it assignment the same because they could have gave another 30 seconds or a minute to the natives. No, not necessarily that.
I think he did it perfectly.
Wait a minute, hear me out. Not necessarily that scene, but what they have been dealing with overall, and it could have still brought a little bit more layers to the overall story. So
yeah,
I get what you're
story,
saying.
Right? So for me, all right, again, this is not what you're saying is how you feel. What I'm saying is the fact that it was that short and the fact that it was that impactful, like the fact that it was short is actually what adds value to the scene for me personally, right?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the scene.
It gives it scarcity.
I get what you're saying, but to me,
wait a minute. But I'm not talking about the scene, and I don't believe as Simon said about the scene.
I know you're
We're
not.
talking about the role that natives have played in the South.
I get that. I get exactly what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this isn't that story to me, right? This isn't that story. Listen, y'all go get your own story. This ain't that story. But the fact that little piece right there was impactful. I didn't need any more.
It was definitely impactful.
I don't need any more, any less from him. To me, it was done perfect.
Yeah, it was done perfectly to me also.
Read that, Jim.
All right, I'm sorry. The land says it immediately put me in the mind of Robert Johnson, Devil at the Crossroads on Netflix. If y'all ain't seen it or familiar. Yeah, Robert Johnson. That's the blues. You talking about the Robert Johnson, the blues singer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me see if I don't know if I saw the Devil in the Crossroads. I'm about to look. Delroy has been my guy since Clockers.
Clockers is that's taking it back.
Brooklyn.
Oh, yes, he was. Wallace was great. Wallace
that string. He was a terrible actor in that joint.
What? No, I think he was perfect.
No, he was terrible. Go back and watch it. The way he delivered his lines.
What person outside of Stringer was a great actor in that show?
Omar.
Okay, I'll give you that. But outside of that,
so next time I name somebody,
Chris wasn't that great. All right, Hoodoo, Voodoo, Conjure. I learned it. Hoodoo, Voodoo, Conjure. I learned in African American Studies in undergrad. Yes.
I'm glad you had an African American Studies teacher to be able to give you those connotations and those, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't get that. So shout out to you, Miss Edie's Kitchen. Shout out to you.
And it's not a bad thing, y'all. Go back and do the knowledge. Do the knowledge, as Jimmy likes to say.
Yo, I never saw this documentary. I know who Robert Johnson is, and I've read his story several times, but I didn't know it was a full doc on Netflix. So shout out to Lance for that. I got something to watch later. Side note, it has something to do with this, but it doesn't. I saw a great documentary earlier. They have a documentary on Louis Armstrong on Apple TV. That's pretty good.
I heard he wasn't as amenable as people like to make him be.
Yeah. Shout out to Louis Armstrong. He worked with my great grandfather. He was in his band. So, anyway, but I digress.
101.
No, that's not a stunt. That's love, man. That's black shit.
It's still stunt. Jimmy.
But listen, though, it actually is related to this film because I was fortunate enough to have a relationship with my great grandfather.
That's dope. Now that's dope.
He passed away when I was like 8 years old. But for the first 8 years of my life, like I would sit down and talk to him all the time. And it's funny because I thought about him last night watching this movie, right? Because he was a jazz musician and this is the kind of music that he listened to in the house. Like, so this movie actually made me think about him. So anyway, I digress.
I agree, Jamel. I agree.
Jordan was great. Where Wallace at string?
He was what the role needed. He was what the role needed.
He plays a certain kind of role well. right? Because to be honest, his role in Black Panther and his role in this movie were very, very similar.
What I'm saying is this, though. When I say acting, I'm talking about actual acting. I'm not talking about whether he was needed or they, you know, sometimes people deliver in roles and they still can't act.
Snoop deserves an Emmy for her role in the
I agree. She got one of my favorite lines in the whole show. You earned that buck. You earned that buck like a motherfucker.
That's what
LaJoya says. It's not a bad thing. However, in my family, my mother's generation don't associate themselves with it. However, my great-grandmother and my generation does in my family, especially them being Louisiana Creole in the South. So, Miss Edie says, thanks. How is it not bad? I had never seen it used for positivity. The stories are always poisoning a woman because she slept with a woman's husband or taking people's money with no wins.
All right, wait. Hold on. Let me get this. Right. Where are those stories coming from, Ms. Edie?
Yeah,
like you have to be mindful of who generates those stories, who benefits from those stories. Listen, anything African from the source was never bad. And if you remember, they still paint us as savages who are not Christian. We weren't educated. We were seen as animals and dogs. So of course they're going to promote that and make it be seen as something that's not quote unquote godly.
I just gave you the roots of it too. Our puritanical upbringing in the United States, right? Because what happened is the Puritans came in and they labeled anything that wasn't Christian, they labeled it as black magic. You know what I mean? Anything that healed, they labeled all of the things that the natives to this land did. They labeled all of the things, all of the previous religions that were here before them. They labeled it all witchcraft.
Look up the Salem witch trials.
And so what happened is it all got labeled, even the good, the bad, the indifferent. It all got labeled as what it got labeled as. Yep. And then if you look, you just have to look at the history of how our country has labeled anything outside of what it was. Yeah.
What up, Markia?
Markia was really good.
Markia, did you see Sinners? If you did, let us know what you thought about it. Yeah, we have to be really careful as Black people to understand who's telling our stories, why they're telling our stories, who benefits from those stories, because a lot of the stories that come out, even by so-called Black people, are bullshit.
Yeah, and also you got to be careful this in general because people's perspective is just like completely different. I've been in spaces where something will happen, right? And you hear two different people who were there tell the story, and it's like, y'all just described two different things, right? So I think about that, then I think about history, like how we get stories and things passed down to us, who controls it, who's telling the story, and what perspective is coming from.
Which is why the music scene was so powerful.
Now, Miss Edie says allegedly a woman in my family slept with a married woman, married man. The wife gave her food, and my uncle told me when he came home, my great-grandmother has worms crawling from her orifice on her bodies.
Whoa!
Now, but I want to say this: have we not seen this in Christian households?
Yep.
I'm just asking that same exact thing, because a lot of times
they get the blicky though.
Eating raw shellfish will give you worms coming out of your orifices. But and I'm not here to put down your family. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm leaving that alone. I don't know who you
Anthony, my old girlfriend from high school said she took some hair off me in my sleep. I don't believe it, but for some reason I think about her every day.
Best to have had. Best to have had.
You put that sunshine on you, beloved. That's all that is. That's all that is. I can't even say too much. I told my aunt and she was angry because it's her mom. My great grandmother was a side chick. Oh, whoa.
Listen, man, a lot of moms and grandmoms were side chicks. Let's not be coy about it. Like
no,
men had double and triple families sometimes.
No, listen, I tell you,
hold on. But this relates right back to the movie. Old girl, and she was fine, y'all. Old girl was like, I got a husband. He was like,
yeah,
so
she
what?
did. She did.
What
she
your
did.
husband got to do with me?
Oh, she said, I'm married. He said, happily.
Happily.
He was smooth with it too. He was smooth with it.
Listen, he was struck from go. He was like,
he saw that chocolate. But listen, though,
he was like,
the next movie I need to see is the one about Miss Edie's family because it's going down over there, doggy.
Yeah.
I want to say something about that real fast though, Kamar, before we get into Marquis' point.
Okay, go ahead.
Because Corey is right. I remember that my wife like opened up the Ancestry jar and started like putting the tree together, and we were at a cookout, right? And at the cookout, we were talking about some of the things that we found on Ancestry, and like, yo, I had like aunts and great aunts start snapping, like, get off that website, because we start finding out things about the family that people were trying to like, what we call those secrets.
Yeah,
like, hold up. Great Nana was 14, and then you know what I mean, she was in some, how she get married at 14 to a 35-year-old? They got mad, like. So in black families, I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of secrets that are hidden.
I got a story to tell you right now.
Listen, they're hidden, and family don't want you to start pulling back them layers, doggy. So
there was a story going around that my grandmother knew her grandmother, and that might sound weird, but I found out after my father's passing because he had mentioned some secrets, but he said it don't even make sense. But I found some documentation that this woman that was always told to be my aunt was indeed my grandmother's mother, my great grandmother, but I never knew her as my great grandmother. In a way, I kind of feel robbed because, like, I never even really got a chance to.
You didn't get that relationship from that perspective,
right? Exactly. So I was like, ooh. So listen, y'all, don't keep secrets, even if they hurt.
Listen,
it's always worse in the long run.
Listen. A lot of people was born from side relationships, man. And people, again, see, because I live in the real world and I don't live in some fantasy conjured world, right? I know these things happen, man. I've lived on both sides of the clean side where you show the clean glass. And listen, man, I've been into the deepest, darkest recesses of black culture that you could possibly go. Like, I've been just about it. I don't got no side family, so I stopped short there. But what I'm saying is, I've been just about everywhere else that you could go, and so I've seen like these gentlemen have their own family stories. My family got them same stories.
We all got them. We all got them.
Listen, dog.
Whether we know them or not, we all got them.
Yeah, so it's not uncommon for that to happen. Like that's not an uncommon occurrence.
So here's a question. If a tree falls down in the forest, does it make a noise?
It makes a noise.
Does anybody hear
it? Yeah. So it made a noise, but it all depends. It made a noise, but it all depends on who heard it, right? So
it made a noise though.
It did. It made a noise.
It made a noise.
But did anybody hear it?
That's not the question though. The question is, did it make a noise?
No, I guess because the point is, does the noise actually matter?
Yeah,
I would say it always matters.
Listen, keeping it from an economic standpoint, inflation ruins second families. You can't even do that in 2025. It costs you.
Here we go. That's Nate logic right there. From the Gospels of Nate.
All right, so let's get Marquis' comment up here.
I got it, Joe. Go ahead.
Okay, you got it. I love how they honored our history and stories. Delroy Lindo plus Michael B. Jordan gave an Oscar-worthy performances. Delroy Lindo should already have an Oscar, by the way.
And I'll tell you this: the other performance that I think was Oscar worthy was for supporting role was the young
Josh Allenberg.
The young man playing the guitar.
That's his actual first role.
Yep, he's an R&B singer.
Yeah, he's a real singer.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. He did that role a great justice.
He just learned how to play the guitar.
I was looking at a thing about him, and they said that he used to open up for her. Like, he's a singer, but he wasn't a popular singer, but he would travel the road and open up for her, and her actually talked him into trying out for this role. So she changed his life because
she did more than just talk him into it.
I don't think he'll be needing employee. I think he's gonna this
yeah, she spoke life into that man. This is what I'm saying.
She actually made the call. She made the call though. She made the call and got him the audition.
I'll tell you this, man. There's nothing more powerful than a black woman speaking black love into anything and anybody. That right there is a listen. I'll tell you like this, right? You want to talk about witchcraft and incantations? A black woman speaking power into anything is an incantation of love.
No, you're right. I mean, that
is an incantation.
That's my life.
Wait a minute, hold on.
That's literally my life you just described right there.
Corey, I need you to say that again, sir.
Listen,
please.
A black woman speaking power into anything is an incantation.
That's for the people in the back.
That is right there. That is a conjuring. That is an incantation. That is a magical spell that will put a battery in your back to do whatever it is that you have to do. A black woman speaking love into you. Listen, and it doesn't matter your race, creed, color, or religion. Because I could tell you like this, man. I've seen a black woman on the street speak to a white dude, tell him hi, and say, "You look good today, honey." And I see my man posture change. You know what I mean?
He tightened up and walked right.
No, listen, bro, you are not lying. I mean, that's literally the story of my life.
It will change your life. Listen, I'll tell you this story. We were at what event were we be at where Rachel's mother? We were at Rachel's event.
Shout out to Rachel's mom, man.
We were at an event. And we were there to support Rachel. She had asked us to come out
for the kids. Yeah,
hold on. Tell people Rachel's name.
Rachel Hannibal. We were at Rachel Hannibal's event, and Rachel Hannibal is the absolute truth. You want to talk about a black woman speaking power into people? Rachel Hannibal is one of those women. And we were at her event, and her mother pulled myself and Jim to the side and spoke life into us for about 5 minutes. And I can tell you, I never floated that high. Like I floated, bro. Like I was floating.
It's funny, right? Because I was telling her, I was like, her mom spoke to us for a while, pulled us to the side, talked to us, told us how she was proud of us, and she spoke life into us. And I just felt better. And I told Rachel, I was like, yo, your mom gotta be a pastor.
I felt like she added years to my life, bro.
And that was the first day I met her. That's the crazy part. But
no, you're laughing. I'm dead ass serious.
No, it's true. But it's true though, because that's the story of my life. Like I can vividly remember, like as a kid, my grandmother was the one who made me feel like I can do anything.
Yeah,
literally.
My grandmother put the absolute battery in my back.
So I say that to say, like, tying it back to what we're talking about. Like, so she did that for him to get the role, but that was even
in the
movie, right? So like all these different parts of our culture were kind of put in this movie, which made it weird to me because at the end of the day, like watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, it's a horror movie. It was so
I never felt scared for 1 second.
But here's what I was going to say: it's almost like two movies wrapped into one. And I was thinking about this too. I was like, this is almost like two movies because in the beginning of this, it's like one movie, and then it like shifts to the horror movie. It's like it's multiple movies in one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, look up the selling with straws. Read that, Corey.
My wife says, we're the ones that brought Europe out of the Dark Ages. We ruled Spain and the surrounding areas for over 700 years. Also, voodoo has been the base religion in Latin and Central America, mixed with forms of Catholicism and other native practices, and etc. as well.
That's a fact.
All those are facts.
That's a fact.
You said nobody admits this. Yeah, I think listen, man, I'm of the opinion that that's funny. I was telling my barber this. I was like, yo, everybody walking this planet needs therapy, yo. And
I agree.
Listen, I include myself. We all do, but it's like because we have a problem of accepting reality sometimes, and I think that's part of why nobody admits to those stories because for some people they're painful, and the only reason they're painful is because we worry too much about perception, not knowing that everybody else got some issue in their family or what's going on in their life too. You know what I mean? Everybody got problems. The problems are just different. I got an uncle I'm not supposed to know about. Look at that.
Yeah, how about that? That's crazy.
So yeah, facts. If you do a little bit of research, just go back to the 1700s, you'll find out some real skeletons. Listen, I filled out my ancestry going back to like great. I didn't even know this until going down this rabbit hole because I've been on some things over the last couple of years trying to do like research on my family. That even my name, right? So I have a cousin who's named John. My father was named James. I'm James, and I have a cousin. I have an uncle named John with a son named John. But I look back at my family's history, and those two names go back like damn near to the 1700s as far back as I could trace. I'm like, yo, y'all don't got no other names y'all like? Y'all just keep remixing.
Yo, listen. So
It's like three names. It's James John, and Roosevelt go all the way back to damn near like
William. So the name of my family is William and Henry. Those two names are like.
But that's a lot. That's a lot of black families and a lot of white families in America.
Y'all just keep remixing the same names, and what's up with y'all? I never knew that.
All right, so LaJoy just said, "I told you about my story." Yes, you did.
Oh man, LaJoy dropped the story on us. We went out to lunch, and LaJoy told us a family story, dog. I
won't mention it. I won't utter to mention it.
I need that on Netflix.
Yeah, man, it's vicious out here.
Yes, like the birth mother is your sister, but really your mom. But your uncle SA'd her.
Yep.
Whoa, and that's the family secret that is revealed.
Oh yeah,
that happens a lot. That happens a lot.
I'll tell you like this: sicknesses where you need somebody's help or somebody's kidney or somebody's blood, those will reveal with time never healed, bro. Like if you need something from somebody and they supposed to be related to you in a way that they're not related to you in, that'll get revealed right away. I'm just saying, man. I seen that happen a couple times where they're like, I need blood or bone marrow from my child, or I need blood or bone marrow from my, my cousin or my sister or my aunt, and then you go to find out that person is not who you thought they were too.
Yeah, man.
Correct.
That is crazy work.
Jimmy, please read that again.
He performed as a kid for Hillsong Church in Texas. He's always been so damn talented.
I gotta look that up.
I never even known that.
Yeah.
Well, Corey looked like he smuggled a phone in jail. What you want, a Dell computer?
Mind your business. Yo, listen, I love you, Mark here, but I gotta give you the same work I give people who mind your business a little bit, just a little bit.
Yo, crazy part is I'm on my old school Dell computer because I left my webcam in my office by mistake, and my other joint acting crazy. But but since we cooking Corey though, y'all can let me be.
Yo, hold on, Jimmy, read this please, because I don't understand it.
This is Jamil. This comes out of Detroit, y'all. I got a homie whose father is his grandfather and his sister is his mother. Didn't find out until his late 40s. Was raised by his aunt and told his mother passed having him, and his pops was a deadbeat.
Damn, yo.
I get that. So his aunt was the one that raised him, and the people that he's
that's wild.
The people he thought was his grandparents were actually his parents.
That's wild.
Yeah. So it's a lot going on in our families, bro. Like everybody got something, dog. If we say something positive and affirming, it's an incantation. I am not creating a spell or a charm. I am speaking life and power. Where is God in all of this?
And listen, God is in the power of the tongue and the words. He tells you in his own. Never mind, man. Listen, read your own books. I'm gonna say that. You know what I mean? Listen, and the crazy part is I know so much about these books again because I'm a pastor's kid. But yeah, listen, man. The power is it tells you about incantations in the book.
But are incantations negative?
No, they are not.
But according to
incantation is just a spell.
No. But according
every word that you utter is an incantation.
Right, but according to the way Miss Itty wrote it, she's taking it as a negative thing.
No, what I'm saying is the negative connotations come from the exterior, though.
Your
you see what I'm saying?
Like, yes.
The negative connotations are coming from an exterior place because they want to place the things that we use to pass our history down in a negative light, so that we are disconnected from our histories and from our stories and from those things. And so I feel passionate about that because words mean a lot to me, because words are how we have passed our history on, and the music is part of those words. And that's why I get so disappointed at our music that's on the radio. I'm not saying that our current music, because there are still a lot of artists that are making great music. I'm talking about our current radio music. Because back in the day when we had our music on the radio, like we were listening to the year 1988, right? We were in our discussion and we were talking about the music that came out in 1988. And we were looking at the diversity of that music in 1988. And this was all hip hop music from all these different artists, right? You can't find
but it wasn't
that
on the radio, though, Corey.
All that stuff was on the radio because I didn't have any access to that stuff without the radio.
You had Lady B on Sunday. We were speaking about Philly. Philadelphia had the no rap work week. So unless you was in Alabama, our music, hip hop was not on the radio like that. That's documented, bro. I'll show you. I promise.
We had MTV Raps.
Yeah,
we did have that.
Because that's where I consumed all the things in that video where he's talking about.
Right. All right. So Jarrell says happy birthday to Corey.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Jarrell.
Do me a favor, everybody in the chat, tell Corey happy birthday. And if y'all don't know, Corey's really the reason why this has all happened. Just let him know. Give him his flowers.
Oh, Don says, I didn't know until my mom had passed that my grandpa, mom's dad, that wasn't even her dad. Everyone knew minus me. Even my pastor knew.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like,
that's wild.
He was the step pop, but he ain't know.
This isn't funny. I know stories like this. Essay is so diabolical. It's awful. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
As Corey says, though, people are going to people. So basically, people are pieces of shit, and they do shitty things.
Yeah, they do. They do wonderful things, too. That's the thing. People are dichotomous. And that's the other thing. That people are dichotomous, right? So there are terrible people who have done wonderful things. And there are wonderful people who have done terrible things. But that's the dichotomy of the world. And then this is why, some people get thrown off. Like people be looking for perfection where there is none.
And can never be.
So she said, Miss Edie says, Corey is just a discussion. That's what she was taught as a child. That is negative. Lance says, you literally cast spells with the words you speak.
Every single word.
Marquis says, happy belated. We got a lot of happy birthdays coming in for Corey.
Hey, more.
Yes.
Thank you. And Miss Maui, my grandmother was named Oralee, Oralee. I got the tattoos to prove it.
Jamil wants me to put that on the record, so I'll put it on the record for him. When I said Detroit, because that's where he's from. He said, but that was his family in Tennessee. There's no Detroit. Believe you me, it's going down in Detroit too, though. It's
going down. Listen, man, there's a lot of uncle brothers out there, man. Listen,
uncle brothers.
There's a lot of uncle brothers out there.
Uncle brothers sounds wild.
Yes, it is. Yes,
happy birthday, Corey. So a lot of happy birthday Corey's coming through. Like the woo.
We want Corey to feel the love, y'all.
Yeah. Shout out to, rest in power to Grams Oralee. Yeah, man. So overall though, any more thoughts about the movies? Any more takeaways or
so
there was a lot. I got a lot of Corey.
I just want to talk about two scenes. So the two scenes that may go overlooked, but that meant that I took a lot of meaning from, right? That most people wouldn't take any meaning from. So when the young man was singing in the bar and the vampires was outside, right? The building was on fire to them.
The roof is
on fire.
We
But
don't need no water.
It was the energy that the vampires were attracted to. And that's what I'm saying about the power of the words. My man was speaking through time and space, and that power that through the lens of the vampires was so great and powerful that the building looked to be on fire, right? And most people wouldn't have caught that, right? So the thing about that is and then in a later scene he says, yeah, the whole reason why I came here is to get him. So y'all can just give me him and I can skedaddle and I'll let all of y'all live.
Yep.
Right? That right there to me was symbolic of what they do with our music. Like, yeah, just give me that and y'all can get out of here.
Now, Corey, that was symbolic to me for another reason. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, divide and conquer too. But what I'm saying is,
no, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing.
The white person coming to the door and saying, "Give me the thing that I came for. Give me that." Like colonizing the music, and then because he saw that it was on fire, and he came to colonize the music and take it away from the black people, and then use it for his own gain.
But think about it like this though too, right? Because I also saw the vampires as being culture vultures.
They are
in that same context.
Yeah.
Right. And they were talking about, a lot of the stuff that was wrong, all the social commentary, but it was only to get their own gain.
Yeah, it was everything was for personal gain.
Right.
And then the second scene that
they made me feel like a lot of the social media gurus who y'all think they spitting game. I'm just saying. Next time somebody says to buy a G-Wagon, I'm just saying.
The second scene that might have escaped a lot of attention, but that caught my attention like a bright light when they were at the when they were at the docks, and the young boy started to play his guitar on the docks, and the old man was like, "Yo, this is my spot right here."
Yeah.
And he was like, "You can't," you know what I mean? He's like, if you wasn't friends with him, I would have cut you too short to, you know what I mean? I would have cut you in little pieces. And that right there was, a representation, that territorialism,
you got to check in.
Yeah, that checking in thing. And I again, the symbolism, you know what I mean? But the great symbolism in that, though.
But
right?
To go further on that, right? Stack co-signed him, right?
Which is why he didn't cut him.
Correct. And so there's a power to relationships as well. Yeah.
I mean, from some of the rough neighborhoods we grew up in, if you ain't come in the neighborhood with somebody that somebody knew, I mean, you get robbed, you can get shot, stabbed, and knuckled down, as Mobb Deep used to say. You know what I mean?
You've been on your Mobb Deep joint all day.
I mean, because listen, The Infamous is my favorite album, and I think it's one of the top 5 hip hop albums of all time.
Did you see?
I personally think
you don't think it's top 5. You think that it's number 1. So
I do think I personally think it's the number 1. I personally think
and Omega for Corey.
I personally think it's the greatest hip hop album of all time. And that's no shot to any other hip hop album. I personally think it's the greatest hip hop album of all time. But we're not talking about that.
Sans Illmatic, by the way, but I digress, man.
I think it's I listen, man. Look, this whole class is about Illmatic, but I'll tell you this: you could do the same thing with that Mobb Deep Infamous album.
I'm telling you is I'm going to see Nas coming up in July with the orchestra, and I'm going to give me a tuxedo and some.
I'll tell you this:
go watch my man Nasir Jones.
In the 90s, I liked Prodigy better than I like Nas.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you. Again, this goes back to.
I'm not saying that I didn't like Nas. I'm just saying I like Prodigy better than I liked him.
Art is subjective. I'm not mad at you.
And listen, Nas is great. He just doesn't make my, top list because I'm not struck. At the time, I thought Illmatic was a great album. I just at the time they were both out. I thought the Infamous was still better.
Listen, me and you have had this debate before, so I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole, man.
All right, so Miss Edie says, okay, now I understand. The Bible says your words have power. The power of life and death are in the tongue. Makes sense. Yes. Proverbs 18:21. Why do I know that? Because my mother beat that into my head growing up.
Yeah.
Real rap. Proverbs 18:21, and I think Proverbs 18:22 is a rich man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So
all those things.
Yep. Speaking of voodoo, remember when Erykah Badu had incense sticks was supposed to smell like her sunshine? Crazy work.
Absolute crazy work.
Yo, the Nate gang is on fire as usual.
Absolute crazy work.
Listen,
all right, Jarrell says, yo, so how did old boy get those scars? When he grabbed him by his face,
when they were in the river, he grabbed him by his face.
Or the claws. He had the claws out, rather.
Yeah.
And then everything was on fire, too. Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was just going to say that the book of It Was Written, chapter 4, verse 3, also says, I gave you power. But that's a side note.
All right, Anthony says, happy birthday to Corey.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yep. No, we got you. Yes, the financial gurus. Yep. It's a lot of them out here. It's like they like roaches. They keep coming. You kill one and two more pop up.
What's good, Lance?
That was the hustle for musicians. Yes, it was. And listen, it still can. I mean, if you are good at your craft and you post up somewhere on a subway, somewhere that's got some traffic, you can make a couple dollars.
Any other musician pull up there, it get physical. And
yes,
what I was saying is the correlations, the one-to-one correlations for a lot of the stuff that was in the movie that still happens today. Like, because the movie was set in the 1930s. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
And so the one-to-one correlations, that's why I say Coogler is a genius, bro. Because the one-to-one correlation, bro.
The funniest thing I saw was they was talking about Jonathan Major was originally supposed to be in the movie, right? I don't know how true that is. But someone on Twitter was like, they could have saved money on costume because he could have dressed right out of his regular wardrobe if he'd have put in the film.
Like. The hate for Jonathan Majors is out of control, man.
No,
his girlfriend smacked him up and beat him in his head and chased his ass down the street, and my man still caught a case.
Them bunnies.
That's
he was drunk about one of the demons probably smoked when he escaped the room.
The other thing that I want to say about Smoke is, if you notice in every scene in the movie that he was in, there was smoke around.
Tracy put me down with that. Tracy told me that yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, she told me that yesterday.
I'm gonna go see it again. I'm gonna go.
It's so many small details, right? So I was thinking about it, and when I put a post up today, and it occurred to me. I was like, even when you first see the brothers, right? Even the idea of the red, white, and blue, which is symbolic between them two. Like one has the red hat, one has a blue hat, and the white shirts. Like that's intentional, right? Yep. One has red, one has blue. Even the dichotomy between the two brothers and how they act. That's why I said Michael B. Jordan did this thing, because he was playing twins, but they had two completely different personalities.
They did.
So imagine having to jump into one personality, another personality. That's crazy work right there.
This is a great. He did a great job with this.
All right, Camari, are you familiar with Tuba, Mary Black, Kennedy of the Salem witch trials? So I know about the Salem witch trials and how they was basically bullshit. And it was a witch hunt, literally. That's where the term comes from. A movie should be made about them and test screened across all mega churches in the country. Are you trying to start problems?
Right.
All right. Marquis says, I'm on Threads talking about the theories from sinners.
Yo, wait, I gotta go find.
I don't even have Threads.
Marquis, what thread you on?
I gotta get my life together.
Tag us in it, Marquis. Tag us in it.
I gotta spend more time on Threads, yo, because I got a profile. I got people on there, but the only thing I do is cross post.
All right. Lance says, Prodigy's HNIC had me in a chokehold when I was in high school.
Listen, I'll say this. There's a lot of people that think that album is better than The Infamous.
It is not.
It's not. It's not close. But you will hear people say that, though.
No, HNIC is absolute fire. But see, The Infamous for me, and I can honestly admit this, like, The Infamous for me is, it takes me to a place in time. But when I think about that, that's a personal thing. I can't really like judge music off of that. It's an absolute personal thing, because Temperatures Rising specifically, I listen to that song every day driving to school, like literally. So I bet I digress. So
that was the album when he broke up, right?
What?
HNIC.
So it was when he wanted to do a solo album. It wasn't necessarily they broke up per se.
But when did they have the falling out? They did have a big falling out.
That was after HNIC.
Yeah, okay. that was way after that.
So there's a theory that Smoke didn't die. I gotta see this, Mark. You got tag JW the Blueprint. Tag me on that thread, yo.
I can see that because he got that belly shot, so he might have survived. Because everybody thought Stack died, and he didn't.
Yeah, but he wasn't gonna go. I mean, I thought he was trying to be with his family, like, you know what I'm saying? You know, he was trying to be with his queen and his child.
Yeah, and I'm seeing everybody.
Smoke's real name, and Elijah in the Bible doesn't die; he ascends into heaven.
Yo, so this movie's going to have all kinds of theories. I don't want to say conspiracy theories.
But see, that's the thing about great art, and that's what he was saying. He was saying some of the stuff he's reading. He's like, "Damn, like, did I mean that? I didn't know I meant that. Maybe I did mean that." Like, you know.
And so people were saying, "Well, he pulled from the Bible when developing those characters."
That moment where he was smoking in this world, but seeing Annie and their baby showed him straddling both planes, and he put out the cigarette and ascended with them.
I mean, I can see that too.
Yeah,
see that too.
That's viable.
You never actually see him die.
That's viable.
Yo, even this, right? This is something else I was thinking about. When the Irish vampire boy was talking to him, and he was talking about the fact that this place you thought you were buying was a slaughterhouse anyway, and they're going to come kill you. And over here where we are, right? You know, because he also said that his family was, you know, once, you know, trafficked over here, what have you. And if you look at the history of the Irish, you know what he's referring to. But he talks about the idea that you want things to be equal and you want things to be fair. You know, let us go.
That doesn't exist.
Let us. So what he said was, it doesn't exist here. If you let us bust a quick grub, then we all on this side. You know, it is funny because I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about like how Ryan Coogler, when he makes these characters, he makes these complex characters where the people who are quote unquote the bad guy in the movie, right? If you sit and think about their perspective, you could justify a lot of it, right? Whether you go back to Killmonger, there are many people that think Killmonger was completely right in the whole thing, right?
So wait a minute. Go back to the Irish colonizer. How was he justified in what he was saying?
I'm not saying he's
what he was saying is, you in America as it exists, right? He said, in America as it exists, you will not get equality. He's like, it's not set up for you that way. He was like, the way to equal the playing field is let us come bust a grub and kill all of y'all and bring y'all to this side so we can even the score with these rat motherfuckers. Like,
I got it, and I'm mad at Jim. And I'm mad at Jim.
I'm not saying I agree with it. What I'm saying is,
I got you. But I'm mad at you because you missed the wire bar.
I didn't even hear what you said, beloved.
I'm mad at you because you missed the opportunity to drop a wire bar.
What's the wire bar where I missed?
You think it's one way, but it's the other way.
I didn't hear you say that. I apologize.
You were supposed to drop that. You were the wire king.
Oh no! Oh, you're saying I did. I missed the
Yes.
opportunity. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm so caught up in trying to get my thoughts out. But the thing about it is, I was thinking about that because I don't know if you guys have seen Creed 3, right? But the Jonathan Major character in that movie too, if you listen to his thoughts, right, he's the quote unquote bad guy. We're all rooting for, you know, Adonis, but when you listen to him, you're like, yo, Adonis might be a piece of shit. How he treated his boy.
No, he wasn't. He was not.
No.
Now Killmonger, I can go with, but not Adonis. Adonis was a kid.
No, but when you hear the perspective of the antagonist in this actual movie,
I got it.
You start to think like, but all I'm saying is when he paints his picture, he intentionally has these characters that are so complex that you like, they're wrong, but it's something there.
But you know the through line through all of them, right? Whether it's Adonis, whether it's Killmonger, whether it's the Irish colonizer, they all have a sense of entitlement. They got entitlement. So my problem with the white boy was that he didn't give a shit about nothing that he was saying. It was all tricks. So
he trying to bust a grub.
Yeah, he was just trying to bust a grub.
So they are always disingenuous because they really don't care. They really don't care about the actual facts. They only want what they want. They don't really want Butterman for you, but that's how they're trying to position it.
So one of the other most powerful parts of it is they couldn't enter without permission, right? So the permission is again like it's like a parable, right? You know, people that do you dirty is not going to present themselves as your enemy because then you'll treat them that way. They're going to come to you with gifts and promises, right? And those people are really more harmful to you than the people who present themselves as your enemy, because you will deal with your enemies in a way that you will not deal with people who come to you bearing gifts and things of that nature.
And you bring it up because it makes me think about all of the missionaries since the Pope just died.
But listen,
all the missionaries that was in Africa. I
told you how America conquered the rest of the world. They didn't.
But that wasn't America. That wasn't America. That was Europe.
No, America.
No, but I'm talking about.
Did that.
No.
We're talking about two different things, though.
Right.
No, we're not.
We're
talking about how missionaries helped conquer the world.
I'm talking about how missionaries helped conquer Africa before America was even created. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We're talking about the same thing, but in two different time periods.
Correct. It was from Europe. It was from the Vatican. It was from the Vatican to Africa, versus in America to Native American lands.
No, not to Native American lands. They brought it to the islands and all of that other.
Here's what I'll say. Y'all want to read an interesting book? Read the book. It's called The God's Banker.
Yep. I've been there.
That's an interesting book, The God's Banker.
I don't think I've read that one.
When we start talking about the Vatican and how basically they realized very early on, hundreds of years ago that religion is our front. We're a bank.
Yep.
And everything we do is for power and money, So, but that's a whole side story. Getting back to this film, though, something Camari said that had it made me think, and you're talking about the idea of the juke joint being a place of black joy, right?
Yeah.
And I was even thinking about that because I was thinking about the fact that when I was coming up, there was no obviously juke joints. There was after hour spots. I mean,
Speakeasy.
After hour joint is a good one on Chew and Shelton, but I digress. But
man.
No, but hold up though. But here's the thing though. I was thinking about that because after you said that, I was online. And it made me realize that one of the things that a lot of other folks hate, people hate black joy.
Yes. We hate black people, period.
Man.
People hate black joy. But here's the thing, we know that. But I was looking online, I was on Twitter, and when you see people that are talking about this film and other things, and they're showing any sense of joy about anything, you're gonna find all the trolls come in and try to just throw a monkey wrench in that. And I was thinking about the fact that black joy is so hated. They just want us to be miserable.
Because black joy.
I talk about the fact that we spend too much time thinking about others, but they spend all day thinking about us, how to make us miserable. People hate black joy. And I was thinking about because the juke joint per se wasn't as prevalent in my upbringing. I was like, where is a place of black joy for our generation? Right. And the first thing I thought of is from a cultural standpoint, there's not one black person on here who hasn't had the experience of a cookout. Right.
Correct. That's why they always trying to infiltrate the cookout.
That's why it's you get an invite to the cookout, right? Because that is the place of black joy. In my life, that's always a place of black joy. And it's funny because other cultures don't even call it a cookout. They have barbecues.
Picnics. But Jim, to your point about black joy, right? There's a scene out of the movie Rosewood that always stuck with me when he was like, they even got a piano. And it was like, yo, black folks can't play instruments. They can't play pianos. They didn't like that at all. And I'm not going to talk about how the drum was outlawed as well. It's just so many points that show they don't like black joy. Because that means we're not just dogs. We're not just chattel. We actually have emotions. We're actually humans. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, even as me and Corey were talking last night, and we were on the way to the crib, and the NFL draft was on. And we were talking about this idea in terms of how they're talking about Shador and the language they use when speaking about him having confidence and all these other things. It's like you can't. They want you to exist one way, and then when you break out of that mold and exist a different way, it becomes a problem.
I saw Ryan Clark talk about that. I'm mad I don't have that queued up for the show, but he did a wonderful job breaking it down. I really appreciate.
We were talking about that in real time, though. We didn't even know about Ryan Clark.
Yeah, I didn't see the Ryan Clark clip you're talking about, so maybe you can find it. But what I was saying is that, so when you have a sense of joy, when you have a sense of pride, I even see it in our comments at times. There are people. I forgot what video we were doing the other day, and someone came in and was talking about
some colonizer.
Yeah, but it's funny because I talk about this all the time on this show, which is the reason why I want everybody to join the village, because we get comments all the time about black wealth. Like, what if I said this wealth or that wealth? And it's like, they think about us more than we think about them, which is a problem too. But the fact is that idea of black joy having a place to exist is something I thought about. Camari is the one that said it. He was talking about the juke, that juke joint being a place of black joy. And I just thought about that idea of black joy. Where does black joy exist in 2025? Where can we find black joy? Right?
Those places are being constricted because everywhere that we used to have black joy, we used to have what they call the freaknik, the Greek picnic. Those were supposed to be places of black joy. We had all of these things that we had where we would congregate and sing and dance and just be merry with one another. Those places get constricted. White folks find a way to force themselves upon that. and create violence. And I'll say this, right? Because if you go to any events, especially like white concerts, people get their head beat all in and all kinds of
pits.
Yeah, crazy, all kinds of crazy shit, right? But then black people, we go and we do something similar, like we was talking about earlier. You know, and anything that violence happened there is a reason to stop us from congregating all together, which is a mess.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. So I'm getting to this comment, right? So this point, I'll tell you a place of Black Joy. June 14th is going to be Black Joy at Coffee, Creams, and Dreams at the next Black Wealth Rebels event. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's going to be Black Joy. But I want to get to this comment right here. I just saw someone put in, hold on 1 second. We got a lot of comments to get to, but it was in reference to Shador. Here we go. He can be prideful all he wants. You can tell he wasn't putting that work in for real. He was always passed through due to his name. His mechanics is trash, but he has potential. Here's what I'll say to you about this, right? If his name wasn't what his name was, and his name was
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson. I was going to say, if his name was something like Chase O'Reilly, right, and he still played for Colorado, and he had a 73% completion percentage,
he would have got drafted in the first round.
He would have been treated the same way. And again, I'm not looking for equity because I know equity doesn't exist, but the facts are still the facts. Like I said, two things can exist. That is a reality. That is absolutely a reality. And I'm not saying that he's even going to be great. I don't know what the future holds, because the thing about an NFL quarterback is a crapshoot anyway. Whether you're Shador Sanders or you Blake Bortles, there's always a crapshoot. But I'm just talking about the whole idea of how they're talking about him is kind of crazy.
The narrative,
not that he didn't get drafted. How they're talking about him is crazy, because they pooping on him and saying all these crazy things. But then at the same time, because this draft is what it is, where it's defensive tackles and offensive tackles, there's no star power. They're consistently talking about him 24/7 for their ratings while pooping on him. It's a wild dynamic. But this goes into the idea of being the talent and being the workforce versus being the ownership or being the one that controls the message, right? So, which is also important as we talk about this film, because one of the things about this film, outside of all of its artistic integrity and how the film made us all feel, is keeping it back to the Black Wealth Rebels and what we talk about is the idea of ownership and the business deal that was struck by this brother in creating this film, right? We got to really talk about that piece too. I know we've been on here for a while, but we can't get off here without talking about that piece of ownership and the copyright reverting back to him within a 25-year period, and it being an original piece, right? Because most of the things we see on the big screen these days, I mean, me and Corey was laughing walking through the theater when they were talking about Final Destination 64 and and Tom Cruise still doing Mission Impossibles in 2025. We're like, dog, like, this is an original piece of work that the brother's going to have ownership of. So I know, Camari, you had some thoughts about that part of it. So I would love to hear your perspective on, outside of the art, the business side, because,
So hold on, give me 1 second, because I want to show something to everybody. Because, I mean, I think it's unprecedented. We haven't seen this before. It's absolutely dope. But I just find it funny that there's not more of us rallying behind it. I mean, I know a lot of us are, but I think everybody should be going, and they should be pulling at their mama, and they should be just going to mob these theaters just to say, yo, we got another one. We got another one. But here, I'm going to pull this up real quick. I looked up the box office numbers, and the box office numbers are through the roof. Now, Jim, do you know how much money they spent to make this movie?
I don't.
They spent roughly $150 million to make this movie. That's a lot of chicken. That's a lot of chicken. I mean, so that's part of the reason why everybody's like, oh, they made 60 million, but they made 150. They're not going to be able to make it. They're not going to be able to make it. So I just find it super interesting. But when you look at the box office numbers, and this movie came out when?
The 18th?
April 18th, yes. So I'm blowing it up because I ain't got my glasses, and I know if I can't see it, y'all can't see it.
Oh, I got my glasses and I can record this, by the way, if you want to hit the button. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Stunt 101.
Stunt 101.
Stunt 101.
Corey don't know this, but I caught him yesterday in the theater trying to eat a glizzy, but you know what I'm saying? But
mind your business, sir.
But I ain't gonna put that on the internet, though.
That's nasty work right there. That's nasty work.
On the internet, though. That's my brother. That's my brother. And it was his birthday.
In all seriousness, do y'all see this number?
What's that?
$93 million 7 days from release. $93 million.
The budget was $90 million. He already made the movie.
No, the budget was $150 million. They spent $150 million. But that's in 7 days. So they there. They home free.
So here's my thing, right? I understand why you're talking about this, but to me, again, we're talking about art, and it's hard for me to even. I get it though, because we have to show numbers. We got to show numbers in order to keep creating. I get that part of it, but when I think about the things that are impactful from an artistic standpoint, I don't know the numbers of those things. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many records Bob Marley sold. I could tell you how the art makes me feel.
But their estate knows, and so does the publishers. So. We need to know, so we know, so when we get to these things, because here's the thing, we don't know who's watching this also. So that's always top of mind for me. Who's watching this? They might not watch right now, but they might watch the replay. We might have another Ryan Coogler. This is going to exist. This is going to exist for years to come, regardless of what that number says. I want to get but people still need to know the number so they can know the possibility as well.
Speaking in tongues, prayer closets, laying hands, prophesizing via dreams, and home remedies, blowing out candles on your birthday is voodoo. And cars don't even know it. And cats, I guess he was saying, don't even know it. Yeah, blowing out candles on your birthday. Got you.
That is definitely voodoo.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, most of the holidays, so people don't even really do the knowledge, right? Most of the holidays are pagan holidays, but I don't feel like arguing with nobody. I don't want no smoke, but you can just do the math on that. Do the math.
Yeah. So let me see. This one says, in the cutscene, Stack says that was the last time I saw my brother. Not alive, saw in general, implying he was not there by nightfall. Did you watch the movie all the way to the end? Absolutely. Listen, Marvel movies have ruined that for me. I've sat at the end of some movies where it's like, dude, why are you sitting here? I'm like, just in case.
I was enjoying the music though. I was enjoying the music at the end, watching the credits.
I was just waiting in case anything. I remember I went to see Roman J. Israel, and I sat there to the end, and then the credits is rolling. Everybody's looking at me. I'm like, I'm not leaving. You know what I'm saying? Marvel ruined it. I don't leave any movie now until it's a black screen and the lights come on. So it is what it is. It's definitely not. I like their joint stuff better. Talking about Mobb Deep. Did y'all see the Easter eggs on Spotify? I didn't see it, but someone told me about it, like in terms of like a different newspaper clippings and things like that. When you put the soundtrack for the movie on, there's like Easter eggs there. Yeah, I didn't see it. I heard someone told me about it though.
I gotta get that soundtrack. I gotta listen to that soundtrack.
Kamari, the women I mentioned were all.
We went over this already.
Yeah, and that's how the Salem witch trials started. Blah blah blah. Having P started beefing after the book, and P went to jail. Bible has dragons, giants, goat, and lamb sacrifices. Crystal healing.
I didn't know about the dragons in the Bible.
Yep.
I know it's on Game of Thrones. Pat says words are very powerful. The most powerful you are I am.
You're
a two-word complete sentence that is not only defining but prophetic. It shows we are made in the image of God. Ooh, I am.
And if more of us knew that, we wouldn't have these problems.
I mean,
but I digress.
The book of I am chapter. Never mind. I mean, because now it's never mind. I'm chill. I'm gonna chill. I live in NYC for that. The sidewalk musicians. I've experienced some wonderful moments with these musicians, better than some concerts I've attended.
That's a fact.
You could definitely do that.
Just like the vampires and sinners, culture vultures have to get permission to be a part of our culture before they corrupt it.
And they always fuck it up. No, it is true to a certain degree.
That's not true.
There's always a cosign. Somebody always cosigns.
Hey, listen, that goes back to the idea of an invitation to the barbecue.
Yep. Because they have to be exposed to it before they can take it, but they don't need permission once they're exposed.
But just like when they was at the door and they told the white folks, no, you cannot come in, there's not enough of that happening in the culture.
But you know what happened? Then because they were exposed to it, because they were there when the young boy was singing, right? Then that gave them the impetus to come to try to take it from him. And then eventually they did.
All right, Corey, I need you to go a little bit deeper on that. Because this
God!
Oh, come on, can we have a real conversation? God damn, come on, man.
My fault. That sounded wow.
I'm going to go further into the conversation. So
thank you, sir.
So what I mean is, right, so that just the pure exposure to it, again, building being on fire, like, oh, I have to have that. The pure energy of it, right? They saw the pure energy of it, and then they needed to have it, right? And so what they first tried to do was to go through it the sneaky way. And then, of course, every non-black person in the movie sold out to black people. And
that's my point.
And the Chinese lady was
you can't run over that joint. Because what happened
the Chinese lady said, come on in, and then that's when the vampires came in and mauled everybody else.
Well, we stood firm. We was like, no. But then somebody else we let in. So the moral of the story is don't let nobody fuck in. that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, like because my thing is every non-black person in the movie did the black people dirty. The white chick went out there and came back with the money, killed the brother, and then started the whole chain of events.
Technically, and then white though.
She had one drop. Yo, I didn't know that was Josh Allen's fiance.
I don't even know what Josh Allen is.
Josh Allen is the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
I don't follow sports.
Yeah, he's the MVP of the NFL. He's the current MVP of the NFL, although it should have been
the current best player in the NFL.
That's his fiance.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he black?
No, he's not.
He's white as the driven snow.
Okay. As is she in real life.
And
But anyway, Miss Edie's Kitchen said they spend so much time thinking about us. The barbershop is thinking about places for Black joy. The beauty salon.
It has been until the Chinese don't get over.
The cookout. That's right. In my hood in the 1970s, black families owned piano.
My son, I grew up in my house. The piano was like a staple.
The Shadora slander is crazy work. Yes, it is.
Absolutely crazy.
Black wealth is an oxymoron. Yes, they did say that. He can be prideful all he wants. Oh, we went over that. We went over that already. In Baltimore, they used to keep us from congregating growing up. They will make us walk around downtown in groups of like three more than that, and the police was breaking all that up. That's crazy. No black Jews.
Damn.
Them folks been burning up over the audacity of Shador. Dion too. They hated Dion forever.
Yeah.
It's hard to create those spaces. June 14th, there will be a space at Coffee, Creams, and Dreams brought to you by the Black Wealth Rebels. And for those who don't know, that is a coffee shop, right? Downtown, we got a coffee shop owned by
Downtown Philadelphia.
Yes. And we will be there June 14th. It's going to be a place of black joy. We're going to talk about sinners probably, because I think I'm still going to be talking about it by that time. Yep. The only reason they ever said we were 3/5 of a human or a dog is because, a DOG. Is because they know we are 2/5 God. They have the
3/5 was about taxes. I'm just saying.
Okay, so now we got the pastor and the tax account. All y'all reference from y'all respective space.
It was the North and the South was beefing about taxes.
Right, so I'm gonna tell you it's about land. It's about land. That's what it's really about.
It is about land too, but they was beefing
about.
Listen,
Corey, I don't even have a reason to say that. I'm just repping real estate because he's repping tax and he's repping. I just feel like I should represent real estate.
I knew you was trolling.
It was state to state beef, so it was about land. It was state to state beef.
I could find a way to tie it to land, but since he was repping tax, I'm a rep land. Like that's what we gonna do out here.
I mean, but that's what it was about. That was directly.
It was directly linked to taxes, though.
Yes.
So Camari isn't bullshitting about this one.
No, I say land. Kamari, we're gonna make a whole show and debate this. Was it 3/5 about taxes or land? I'm willing to debate.
It was 100% about taxation.
All right, so hold on. I got the clip. I want to show you.
Taxes themselves are about land.
Taxation and representation.
Taxation is about land. But anyway.
All right, so check this out, y'all.
Problem with it is obviously the anonymity of all of the comments and all of the quotes and all of the things that we have had reported, whether it was Josina Anderson around the combine, recently with this quote from an offensive coach who says he's entitled, who says he puts the blame. I watched Shedeur Sanders get damn near killed for 2 years at Colorado. And I never saw him berate a lineman on the sideline. I never saw him cuss or scream at a coach. And you're hearing these things like entitled and these little pieces of the characteristics of his personality when we had a number 1 overall draft pick get arrested for being orderly and drunk. And we had more people coming out and saying, okay, here is who the real Baker Mayfield is. Don't watch this video. Don't believe that what you saw of him is who he is. He's a good person. He's a good leader. He's this. We had more anonymous people saying those things. Shedeur Sanders never been arrested. Shedeur Sanders has never been in trouble. Shedeur Sanders has never misused his names to the point of taking advantage of people. You have Johnny Manziel, who missed the first game of his last year against Rice for Texas A&M because he was suspended. You have Johnny Manziel, who ended up getting a whole documentary about how effed up he was away from the field, but there was no anonymous talk about him. There was no one coming out and saying Johnny Manziel isn't a good person. Johnny Manziel is entitled. Johnny Manziel has an alcohol issue. And so to me, the way that Shedeur Sanders has been covered seems purposeful. It seems that there is some sort of intent to slander or defame. All of these conversations could be taking place behind closed doors, as they do for so many of these people, and kept there. But why him?
Right.
It's for the clicks. It's because, you know, the name will bring people to your page. The name will bring people to your show. And it's sad. Like, it's sad that he's being used this way, but he has to find a way to take the lessons from this. The lessons from this of what his name means, the lessons of this of how you block out the noise and continue to perform. This kid is going to be ready from a maturity standpoint when he walks into the building. Now, what the GMs should be thinking about, and executive scouts and coaches, is when will he be ready physically to play the position?
So, and even combining that with what Ann says, former NCAA cornerback here, I would love to play against him, right? So here's my thing. All of the criticism about him, you're talking about football. And that's my problem. My problem is all the criticism of him has nothing at all to do with football. It's not about his mechanics. It's not about his speed. It's not about his ability to read defense. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's about respectability politics. Like, I just saw a post, it's in the Don's group, Afro's on Fire, where a guy was talking about what's going on with Shedeur, and it's all respectability politics. It has nothing to do with football. Like, none of the criticism is about football, and I think that's my biggest issue. All I know is the highest completion percentage in the NCAA history. If his name was, Chase O'Reilly, he would be gone already. That's just what it is. But again, I also adding to that, Ryan is using his platform the right way, but even when he makes the comparisons with Baker and the comparisons with Johnny Manziel, that's if we're talking about things being equitable. Things aren't equitable in this place.
But that was his point, though, also.
No, that's his point. But what I'm saying is we have to understand that things aren't equitable until we have a systemic change, a policy change. Until there's something drastic, things aren't equitable. So I think it's effed up what's being done, but it's not shocking, right? I expect this. This is what I expect to happen. And I think that's my point.
Yeah, but just because you expect it to happen doesn't mean we shouldn't speak out on the bullshit that it is happening.
No, that definitely, you're right about that.
Because and I'm not saying Jim is doing this, but too many black people get caught up in respectability politics.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, that shit ain't got nothing to do with us.
No, I'm not saying that he has to behave himself.
I want him to keep being black. That's why I said what I said before I said it. Because it wasn't no shot, it wasn't no joke. I'm dead serious. Like, a lot of times we're like, well, if you just wear a suit and tie, the police wouldn't bother you. Well, King wore suit and ties all the time, and they still fuck with him.
You know me.
Like, Dr. King and Malcolm X wore suits all the time, and they got their ass beat by the police.
Listen, I'm anti-suit for that reason. I'm literally anti-suit, right? I'm literally anti-suit. I just wore t-shirts to my mother-in-law's funeral. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was fly though, but that's either here nor there. Point is, you said Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield are both arrogant, but their play made up for it. I would disagree with that, because when you talk about their play versus his play, again, the numbers he put up speak for themselves. You can say what you want to say about his mechanics, but what I know for a fact in watching college football is Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield didn't have mechanics either. Neither one of those guys had the mechanics of a pro quarterback, right? What they did have, though, is they had the complexion for the connection. So the things you hear about him have nothing to do with football. You're talking about football. When you watch the coverage of him, it's nothing at all to do with football.
And it's always like that.
They saw us as 350 human because they knew we were 250 God. We were totally, oh yeah, we got you. Y'all thinking from an emotion. I'm not emotional at all. I was actually in it and have many buddies that was in the league. The prospect is an investment. They will scrutinize anyone despite the color, right? Again, you're talking football. When you watch the criticism of him, it's never football. Even the anonymous people that are saying things, they're talking about his personality. They're talking about his father being a helicopter parent. They've never said anything about his mechanics. They never said anything about his arm strength. They never said anything about his pocket presence. They said everything about his awareness, everything about his speed, about his strength. Everything they're saying, to me, that sounds more emotional than what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're going to criticize football, fine, criticize football. But what they're doing is something different. And what they're doing, I've never seen them do that to anyone else.
Should we start a Black Wolf Rebel sports show?
No, I mean, I don't even care to talk about sports because
I was actually serious.
Listen, the reason I let my sports show go is because like I don't even want to talk about it because to me,
it's a distraction.
No, Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson is an excellent read. I'll put it that way.
$40 million slave.
I'll put it that way, right? And this is why, getting back to the original topic, this is why the idea of being able to own, that part of it, they fried Tim Tebow's mechanics. They talked about him not being a great quarterback based on his mechanics. The Tim Tebow talk about his personality. They were saying how great of a kid he was. He's a great kid.
And
He's
they
never
still drafted him in the first round.
And he still got drafted in the first round. But the Tim Tebow criticism was about his actual football play. That's my point. You're making my point with Tim Tebow. When they talked about Tim Tebow's personality, it had nothing. It was nothing but positive stuff. They talked about the great parts about him. His thing was about his arm strength, about his ability to play quarterback at that position and not just be someone that runs the ball as he did in Florida. Do you know why they hate Black Joy? It's simple, because we represent two things to them. One of their greatest victories and their greatest failure. One being that we built the nation and we can't die off.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Listen, man. The thing about them, they are genetically at our whim.
So Dr. Francis Cress Welsing has a whole book on it. Read that. It's called the ISIS Papers.
They are genetically at our whim.
I'm not even going to say anything about that. I'm just going to say, go read the book. Dina says going to see it tomorrow afternoon. They made $60 million thus far. I can't disagree with you because was drafted. I know there's no other player in this last year's draft with more YouTube videos and analysts criticizing a single player. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like I'm talking about what they're saying. And then we didn't even invite them in. Someone adjacent let them in. That's
correct.
Yeah.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yance, what's good? Yance, what's really good? We talking about sinners or pound cake?
Sinners, but I'm sure pound cake's coming up soon.
Rock says he ain't that dude. I wouldn't risk my franchise on him. Listen, that's a matter of opinion, and that's football talk. I'm talking about the way he's being treated, the way they're carrying it. If you're saying that he doesn't have the mechanics, that's one thing, but I haven't heard one scout say that, right? Thing about a quarterback is this, right? You're taking a crapshoot on all these guys, right? That's the thing. You're taking a crapshoot on all these guys, right? From a pure number standpoint, majority of quarterbacks that get drafted aren't going to work out.
I'll say this. I don't listen to most of it because 90% of them don't watch college football. Like you make it like you didn't see young boy from Tennessee State play 13 games this year. You didn't see the boy from, you know what I mean? Like you seen all of these dudes play once or twice.
And that's another reason, right? That's another reason why I got out of that business when we had the sports show, right? Because I would meet with like professional athletes, GMs. And by the way, all this is documented. It's all on YouTube too, by the way. It's on YouTube and all over the internet. And I would talk to some of the biggest agents and some of the biggest people in sports media. And they would literally tell me off the record a lot of times, like, yo, I don't even watch sports. I'm an entertainer at this point. I had ex-NBA players tell me how much they hated basketball. They never liked it. I was just good at it. I hated it. And, you know, here's me, someone grew up loving sports, and I'm getting upset and emotional watching the game. And I got people that actually are in the trenches telling me, I don't even like the game. I just knew I could make a couple dollars. Like, so like, and then I got people who are covering the sport telling me, like, I don't even watch. I just go look. I had one person, you know, who made millions of dollars from what we call the 4 letters, ESPN, tell me, like, yo, I go on Twitter for my takes. They do. Like, so it's like, it's wild, man. Sports is a wild place. It's a wild industry. I literally laughed out loud when he said it's about taxes. Because everyone knows Camari gonna make everything about taxes.
No, that's what it was for. That was the
no. It was about tax. It's about stocks, dog. He said it's about stocks. We got a new argument. It's about stocks.
Oh God!
On Wall Street. It's about stocks.
So do me a favor. Go back to Marquia's comment real quick.
About you making it about taxes?
No, this one right here. They're projecting to surpass Creed. So we're talking about the movie again now, y'all. Just for the record, no sports talk. So Marquia, real quick, I just looked up the numbers. Creed did 173 first movie. Creed 2 did 214 worldwide. Creed 3 did 276. Coogler is that dude. Michael B is that dude.
Yeah, them working together, they get it done, man.
So I mean, if it does do those kind of numbers, it will be great. It will be totally great.
Like if I'm them two, I don't like every time I cast the lead character for a black movie, I'm casting him because the synergy they have is absolutely amazing.
All right, so I know we talked about Yancey. All right, pound cake.
I got it. Because Camari be jumping all over the comments. Man.
I'm back at it, baby.
You got it.
Come on now, I stay on top of it.
3/5 humans was before we could buy land or pay taxes.
It wasn't about our land or our taxes. It was about they was fighting over it themselves.
They wanted the slave owners to pay taxes on the amount of slaves they had.
All wars that were ever fought.
That was called the 3/5 agreement.
Correct.
All wars that were ever fought were about land. I'll just put it to you that way.
Or Punani.
I mean, that's somebody else's quote unquote land, right? But never mind.
I'm gonna just say a lot of those land fights started off about a woman.
That's a fact.
So, Pat says Sanders is buck breaking on display in a lot of. It's a film that Camari is eventually about to do a review on called Buck Breaking, but it's buck breaking on display, and a lot of black folks are helping crack the whip. A first rounder, from a business standpoint, maybe not, but to act like this is all about football is to be blind. It's not about football. They don't even bring up football. That's the crazy part. Is nothing is about football.
We can dress in suits and they still see us in chains.
All the facts.
So Dina was preaching earlier. Pass is coming in to round it out at the end.
Instead of saying white privilege, I'm gonna start saying they have the complexions for the connect. Hey, listen, man.
That's a fact.
That's what that is a fact. That's real trick.
Y'all both are right. Ant and I are judging based on skill set. The critics are coming at him on a whole. That's all I'm talking about. If you don't think he has the skills, that's fine. But guess what? I can guarantee you that half of the people that got picked on day one
don't have the skills.
They don't have the skills either, right? So, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
What's that stat though for any first round draft pick in any sport? They usually all wind up flaking out.
Like
I don't know the actual number, but
like 60-70% of them end up flaming out within the first 4 years. But it don't matter. It don't matter because the thing about it is his name gonna ring bells. He's gonna play quarterback in the NFL for the next 10 years because he's a talented young man. But the thing about that is that what Pat is saying is right. They're trying to break his spirit. They're trying to break his confidence. And that's why they're doing this. And I don't like the way that shit look. I don't like the way it feel. And I'm not even the one in the crosshairs of that shit.
They don't like black joy at all, any form, shape, or fashion.
That's the craziest part. As a black man, I don't even like the way that shit feel for him. Like that's what you get. You want to talk about empathy? I don't like the way that shit feels for him. Because
all right.
Kamari wants, somebody's trying to break you.
Kamari wants us to pay homage to his artwork.
I'm an artist, baby.
I know what that was. All right.
Nah, man, listen, man.
That was the Badu in you.
I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
I ain't mad at that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes undrafted. If he goes undrafted, that's definitely buck breaking at that point.
Yeah, that's hate.
Listen, he led the entire NCAA in completion percentage, and and played at Colorado. This isn't Jackson State, no disrespect, but I'm just saying, like, this is anyway. With that being said, Sinners was beautiful, man. Beautiful film. I'm definitely going to see it again. I want to go see it on IMAX. I didn't see it the first time on IMAX, so I think I got to have that experience.
Let me know when you're going to see it on IMAX.
I was about to say, when are we going? Because Jim's treating.
Oh, you going to show up?
Jim's treating.
Oh, Kamar, you going to show up? I don't problem treating, so he ain't saying nothing but a can of worms to me. Listen.
Okay. Listen, as long as I'm not about to have gas blow-ups in my building, I'll be there.
Are you going to show up is the question, though.
As long as there's no gas blow-ups in my building, I'm there.
Because you don't like Black Joy either, man. You know.
Damn.
You just reckless now. You lying now. That's beyond a joke. Come on now.
Lying. That went a little too far, man. That went a little.
Listen, man, we gotta do a Bitcoin giveaway, right? So, what is going to be the hashtag for this evening?
Sinners. Hashtag sinners.
I mean, maybe it could be something else from the show, like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
like,
man.
you know.
Hashtag sinners, man. Let's make this simple.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, if y'all got something else, put it out there.
Hashtag smoke, hashtag stack. I'm joking. I don't know. It could be anything, man. It's a lot of stuff, man.
Hashtag sinners, hashtag devils,
hashtag
racism.
Black Joy. Hashtag Black Joy. You know what I mean? Hashtag Juke Joy. Hashtag Sammy.
Sammy was at work.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that young man, he deserves it, man.
I know. I deserve to get cooked for this because I thought I would have the link. Miss Mallory actually checked in with the folks, the good folks, right before we came on and supplement, and they still told me that we're waiting on them at this point, you know. And I'm trying to have a little bit of grace with them because I know they're overwhelmed with everything they got going on. So I don't have it. Soon as I get it, though, I'm gonna inbox it to you, so you don't have to wait for a show. I'm waiting for them.
Juke joint. That's a good one too.
Did you not just hear me say that 5 minutes ago?
No, I did not.
No.
Yeah, he didn't be listening to me, bro.
Why y'all always want to complicate things and then extend things, man? Just make it center so we can get it.
Listen, man, I believe in letting the people have a voice. That's all.
Man, listen, man. We've been here since 7 o'clock, bro. It's almost 10 o'clock. Let's get these people their money.
I definitely got Chipotle downstairs, but that's either here nor there.
Like, you prolonging this.
Jim don't care about nobody else eating as long as he got his grub.
Whoa. What's that?
I mean, you did say I got promoted. Listen,
I got Chipotle. Listen, man. Listen, that's Black Joy right there. When I get my Mexican food, this little Black Joy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what are we doing here?
Listen, if we don't all eat,
we got somewhere to be. And we got somewhere to be tomorrow because we got business to discuss. We got business to discuss tomorrow.
All right, so sinners it is. Sinners it is.
We
only got 3 things.
All right. I mean, maybe if you put it on the screen, we might get some more. You know what I'm saying?
What, you saying people can't hear?
I'm not saying anything, but I'm just telling you what it is.
Oh boy.
There we go. Sinners. Hashtag Chipotle.
We will not promote white establishments. I'm sorry.
Yo.
Unless we own the stock. Do you own the stock, Jim?
I don't own CMG. You know what I'm saying? But
I will say this though, CMG has done a yeoman's work for a long time.
They got this new honey Chipotle chicken. So you know what I'm saying? By the way, that's the new wave on everything. Every restaurant I go into now got some honey this, honey that. Where's
the honey queen at?
Yeah, I'm saying honey is the new wave right now.
Where's the honey queen at?
Oh, that would have been dope, Jerome. But it's all right. We have selected it. We picked it. We got to stick with it. Sinners it is. Sinners it is.
Yes, man. Listen, man. Speaking of dynamic duos, I just read that Denzel and Spike Lee got a new film coming out together.
Yes, they do. About time.
They put in work together too, though. They got like 5 joints.
Cav is cool. Cav, it might be. It might be.
So you think Cav is better than Chipotle? What about where you put Honey Grow at?
I like Honey Grow better than all of them.
Really? Okay.
I do.
Okay. Okay. I like Black Dragon better than all of them.
So Black Dragon was at the last PABJ event. I missed it. I'm mad.
What event was this?
The last meeting.
Yo, I didn't even know a meeting happened, bro.
Read your emails, brother.
Yo, my emails are nuts. I need text messages or something because my emails are crazy. I got so much spam and so much nonsense that I miss a lot of emails.
Steve's in the building. What up, Steve?
Yo, the marketers have done to my email what they once did to my mailbox.
Okay, Diggy's here. What up, Kay?
What's really good?
Yizzle.
So I still got to get some Black Dragon. We got to figure that out.
Shout out to my cousin Drew. You know what I'm saying? Yo, real fast, Camari and Corey. Before we depart, what was your single favorite part of the movie?
It was Sammy singing. I can't even front, man. Well, my two favorite parts. When the Indians was like, when they checked on the white folks, it was like, yo, like, if he in there, you need to let us come do what we need to do. And then when
they was coming with all the smoke.
Listen, the way they bounced was my favorite part. They was like, you know what? You right. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Like, because they was like, we tried to told you, but you don't want to listen. So go, like, you don't want to listen. We saw him come this way, and you saved him. You know what I mean? So
I don't know what my favorite part is. I'm trying to think of it. It was so many of them.
But I'm gonna agree with Kev on stage and say that that scene where they were going through time and they showed all of the black music and how it all connects. That might have been one of the 2 or 3 best scenes in a movie that I've ever seen.
God damn.
That's like moving art. Yeah, listen, and Steve, it's funny because I was reading about it. Shout out to Rich. Rich is the one that put me down with it before you mentioned it on the show. But I saw when you mentioned it on the show, after the show, I was looking at it because I'm a huge fan of the young boy, Jack Mollers. Jack Mollers I like Jack Mollers. I like his approach. I like the way he carries it. So I was looking at that. And it's crazy because I try to stay away from SPACs for the most part. But they're not even measuring their success in dollars, which is a little interesting to me. They're like, yo, price per Bitcoin. They don't know. They're trying to like do a whole 180 of how things are treated. So I'm gonna keep watching it. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it because I'd rather have sats, but it is what it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's a fact.
Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah.
But it was also still light when they were there.
Yeah, let them go get their own movie. This ain't about them. Yeah, my favorite scene in the movie is when he first, after he sees the grave of his child and he has that conversation with her, and the way she told him, like, who says you wasn't protected? You know what I'm saying? Like that whole scene right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then it end with then it end with him getting cheeks too. Like that whole scene though, like was fire.
Yeah, the way that played out was amazing.
But wasn't that supposed to be his father's grave?
No,
I assumed
it had a baby bottle on it.
It had a baby bottle on it. It was very small too. That's why I assumed it was that. That's the way I interpreted it.
But I remember them saying something about his father's grave.
Yeah, but
which was crazy too.
Yeah, they wasn't. And then the scene where he was like, "Yo, my brother is a goddamn lie." He told him the joint.
Yeah.
But so the one thing I thought about too is that Smoke exhibited all the big brother / daddy energy. He was definitely the father figure in that role.
Mm-hmm. So that was my favorite part right there.
I watched the ball video, Paradigm Shift.
That scene. No, listen, Mars is that dude. That scene though that Kevin on stage talking about, Corey talking about, that is very powerful. It was art. It was like, this is high art. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I saw the juxtapositions with the Good Times, the whole Good Times joint. Like, So that's what that was. That was meant to be powerful, and it was powerful. But there were so many like small scenes like that. There's 3 scenes I think of off the top of my head. Is the scene you're talking about, Corey, the scene where he talked to old girl, and the third scene is the scene when they're in the car and he's talking about how and this is Delta Slim talking about how his friend got hung, and he made a statement. He's talking about the blues, and he says we brought this with us. It wasn't put on us like that religion. I'm like, whoa, that was a little heavy. That was some.
That's why I love this. I love this part. But I think my favorite part, and y'all probably will disagree, but
Steve is wild, yo.
my favorite part was when Sammy would not let go of that guitar.
Interesting.
Because he's like,
what did that represent to you?
It was almost like fuck your religion.
I mean,
okay.
But at the same time,
listen, he told him, I'm leaving regardless of what you talk about. I'm getting out of here.
I'm choosing Black Joy.
Yeah, he was holding on to that guitar. It's like Camari holding on to a 1040. Let that 1040 go, Camari.
Get rid of the guitar like 4 times.
Let that 1040 go, Camari. No, I'm not.
I told him to get rid of the guitar, all of that kind of stuff, and none of that made him get rid of the guitar, which means he was following his own godly energy, because that was his godly energy. That was his connection with his God. How you gonna tell that man to get rid of something that connected him to the source?
Well, hold on. I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. None of us talked about Saul Williams. He did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
He was excellent. I almost didn't recognize him because I haven't seen him in so long.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always been so skillful and so artistic. If that even is a thing.
Hey Corey, you missed what I said. I said he was holding on to that guitar like Camari be holding on to these 1040s.
I called that bullshit.
I didn't miss it. I overlooked it on purpose because I didn't want y'all to get into no argument. Can we get the people they Bitcoin, man?
My least favorite scene was when she was drooling.
She was straight drooling too. She was straight drooling. That was wild.
Yeah, that's what he get for this. And that I thought about Dr. Umar in that moment when she was trying to get him in that room. I was like, man, what would Dr. Umar say right now, man?
Yeah. Yo, that's true.
Yeah,
Black Queens.
That car scene was good. Yeah. Let's get to the comments, then we can get that car scene was good. Go ahead, Kamar. You put this. You put it up since you know the next.
So I got something else. Hold on.
Here we go.
No, we good. You gonna love it.
Let's try to get to the comments, man. That car scene was good, is what Steve said. It's monkey here. I didn't see this, Jamil. Said Trump blessed the NFL owners for not drafting Shador.
Yeah,
so he's playing technology. He knows when he says that what the reaction is going to be. That's the thing. Right?
What was the hold on.
Even saying that way sound kind of wild too, though. That Sanders boy got good genes. Yo, that sounds mad plantationist. And we didn't need
Remick. All right, Trump is Remick.
We didn't need any white people in the movie for love interest. But hey, Kamari, making AI pick, if you clutching that 1040, that would be dope. Let the 1040 go, Kamari.
I think I did that, but yeah, I'll do it.
Let the 1040 go, Kamari. Kamari, I'm following my passion. I'm not letting this 1040 go. Did we see Kamari in the future with the 1040?
Lord have mercy.
He called them stupid. Oh,
you know what? I did want to talk about something real quick before we do the Bitcoin giveaway.
What you want to talk about, man?
I want to talk about. So I got some commentary.
The new Wu-Tang album that dropped?
No, man. I wanted to talk about, and I don't think Shelby's here, but I wanted to talk about. I did a Black Joy experiment. Excuse me. I did a Black Trauma experiment, and it was your fault, Jimmy. Just want you to know.
Oh, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm getting shots.
I'm gonna tell you. I used your idea to do a Black Trauma experiment.
You did.
So I took it a little bit further than I would a little bit.
You did. You went too far with it.
No, I don't think so.
You got me feeling like Big Melty out here, man. What the fuck did I do?
Yo, that's funny.
But hold on, I'm trying to find this. Damn it!
I'm gonna tell you like this though. I'm making a hard left turn to the black screen at 10 o'clock, man.
The black screen.
Yeah, I'm making a hard left to the black.
You going to sleep?
What's 10 o'clock?
Man, I ain't eat dinner, man. This joint started at 7 o'clock.
I ain't eat dinner either. We
So
all got to sacrifice together.
Kamari's the blatherskite, dog. He still got something else.
I've already disproved you. By the way, listen, I've got empirical data, Mr. Data Scientist.
No, I've seen you go solo and put up 4 and 5 hour vids, dog. You love the long form.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, all right, I'm going to put these up. And so, this was an inspiration from Jimmy.
I appreciate that.
Even though he doesn't want to acknowledge it.
I'm not acknowledging it. I thought it would be trolling. So for those who don't know what he's talking about,
oh hell no!
That part was not the inspiration for me. No, it's the first picture. I said that.
Yo.
Yeah, he took it too far.
Hey, yo.
Why would you even do the kissing part?
Yo, absolute troll duggery scene.
So here's
of
what
this
I said.
movie.
What I said was, I'm going to do a trolling Mount Rushmore because everybody's doing these Mount Rushmores. I said I'm going to do the Mount Rushmore of black leaders, and I said I was going to put Malcolm, Martin, Marcus, and Charleston White as a joke, just to troll people. But Camari took it a step further and want to have them kissing each other and smiling and he just, Eddie Murphy once says, man, you give somebody an inch, they're going to take a mile, right?
But hold on, in all seriousness, I did do this.
Some people you give a rope, they want to be a cowboy.
But in all seriousness, I did do this as an experiment. So when I put the one up with Shannon and damn, I can't even remember everybody over the time.
It was Martin, Malcolm, and Mark.
No. His
Garvey.
is Bill Cosby, Shannon,
Correct.
You got Diddy, and somebody else.
But I put those up, and then I put up the Bill Clinton one and the Jeff Epstein one. Do you realize how much more traction the black one got versus the white one? Well,
I mean, I think there's context to that too.
No. But hear me out. But hear me out. And I know where you're going because I was thinking about that too. Yes, it's a black audience. Yes, they're going to recognize that more, maybe, or maybe people really do believe the white man's ice is colder, and they don't even want to. Let me finish, Jim. Let me finish. And maybe they don't even want to think about how bad white stuff is. But anytime there's black trauma, they jump right on it. I mean, people even unsubscribe from me because they were offended by it.
So I don't even think that you can draw that conclusion based on that little thought experiment. I do think that a lot of people believe that white ice is colder because that's what you're taught from the day you're born in this continent. Now, what I will say is,
it's not just this continent; it's actually the whole world.
All right, can I finish? I'll let you finish.
You actually didn't. You cut me off several times, but go ahead.
Let me cook. What I'm saying is you have to take into consideration who your audience is, right? That's the first part. Mm-hmm. The other part about that is most black folks I know don't even know who Jeffrey Epstein is.
And that's a problem.
I mean, it may be a problem, right? We know who Clinton is because he played the sax on Arsenio, but we don't know
who Clinton was at Epstein Island. And
yes,
so was Trump.
And so was Trump. I get it, right? But what I'm saying
Jay was now why you gonna slander Jay? Wasn't there?
That's what the internet told me.
Come on, see you now. You doing the same thing.
No, I just had to piss you off because I know you're gonna defend that man today.
I'm not going to defend him. I'm defending black people. I love black people.
Jay-Z can walk on the screen.
I love black people.
Jay-Z can walk on Kamari's screen right now and smack him in the face, and Kamari gonna say, "I probably had that coming." Pause. Anyway, with that being said, I think that you can't draw that conclusion based upon that.
Well, according to you, Jim, you can never draw any conclusion.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can't take that and say with the things you said. That's impossible to do. Do
you realize? So not only that, I didn't give you the data behind it. That thing was shared over 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. So why are we? If you're so appalled by it, why are you sharing black trauma? Well, right? Also, it got way more views. Also, to your point, playing devil's advocate, maybe the algorithm didn't serve it up to everybody, so they didn't see it. So, I mean, that's the thing. But I got to believe, same time, I put up around the same time, black people just wasn't checking for it.
So, in data science is the term for that, because you have a specific audience you're sharing it with. It's not randomized in terms of getting the feedback from a huge data set. The other problem is this, though. You also did it at a time where Shannon has been trending for a while. So
Trump has been trending every day.
Yeah, but Shannon right now is right now news. It's not the same way.
Trump is right now news.
No, it's not the same, dog. It's not the same.
Oh.
I can go right now and see that Shannon Sharpe is getting more clicks right now than our president. Your president.
Your president, not my president. Your president.
I don't have a president, man. My president is Captain Ibrahim Traoré. But I digress.
I don't even want to say his name, honestly.
I understand why you. I mean, I think.
Yeah, I'm fearful. Like somebody brought up, and this is a side. Somebody brought up a shot of Shakur the other day, and was really showing her love. It was like, it's amazing how she went wherever she went, and nobody's messing with her. And it's like, I don't even want to bring up her name because I'm afraid that they might go looking for her.
She was like Native Americans in center. She was like, all right, y'all cool? All right, I'm on that type time. Anyway, man. So I just want to put up. She just wanted to share your artwork. When you went, and also you went too far. What was the point of the kissing part though? What was that about?
What are they saying about Diddy? What are they saying about Shannon?
But what Bill Cosby got to do with that part? The one thing about Bill Cosby is they was,
we don't know. We don't know what happened at Playboy Bunny Island mansion.
Here you go. You putting extra dirt on Dr. Cosby's name.
It's funny. You will put extra dirt on Jay-Z's name in a heartbeat. Won't even think about it.
I'm trolling you when I do that because you love me.
Oh, you troll. All right, well, I'm trolling you.
All right, man. I love y'all brothers, man. I'm out, man.
All right, hold on, Corey. We're going to get to it. Let's do the drawing. I'm sorry, Corey. I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening. I'm trying to listen. It's Camari. I'm telling you, it's Camari, man.
Corey like F. Now I can't get rid of this damn thing.
And I blame you too, though. Why the black dudes, you want to make them kiss, but you want to make the white guy smile.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you part of the problem with that one.
All right, so we got 14 people here.
That's it. Out of all the people we gotta get anyway. But yo, hold up though. Why the white dudes ain't kissing? Why you got them smiling?
You got to talk to my designer about that.
You hate Black Joy too?
Come on, y'all. Come on, man. Do the spin.
You hear that? You hear that, Jim?
I do, and I'm with him. Spin it already.
All right, 14 people. That's all we got.
Hey, listen, it's a chance to listen. We got 5 times that many people watching, but they don't want it. It's cool.
All right, here we go.
If you win, send an email, blackwealthrebels@gmail.com. Send your lightning invoice or lightning tag. K. Brittany's the winner. Hey, Brittany, first off, Brittany, are you still here?
Brittany here. She here.
We'll see. We're going to give her a couple seconds to answer. Brittany, if you are here, where did she send the email to, Camari?
blackwealthrebels@gmail.com.
That's it.
blackwealthrebels@gmail.com. blackwealthrebels@gmail.com. All right, Brittany, are you here? Don't make a liar out of me.
I mean, that
Brittany, are you okay? Are you okay, Brittany? Brittany, are you okay?
Brittany said she getting out of here because Camari was blatherskiting.
Are you okay, Brittany?
Brittany, are you okay?
There she goes.
I told you.
Brittany, are you okay? Are you okay, Brittany?
All right, send an email. Now, Jimmy, tell her how to do it.
So if you are in Cash App, go to where it says Bitcoin, right? And when you get to Bitcoin, you hit the up and down arrow, then you hit receive. You will see a QR code. Tap on that QR code. It'll give you your Bitcoin address and your Lightning address. Email us over your Lightning address. It's a long string of numbers. You send that email this evening, you will get your winnings this evening. It's blackwealthrebels@gmail.com. If you have an issue actually finding your lightning address, you can also send that to blackwealthrebels@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can put it in here.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Because then you can't send it to a cash tag. You got to send it to the lightning address. And if you drop it in here, I'm not going to be able to grid it. So you have to email it, blackwealthrebels@gmail. And don't email your cash tag. Email your lightning address by going to Bitcoin, hitting receive, right? Seeing the QR code, tap the QR code, and then hit lightning and send that over.
I mean, didn't Brittany win a couple weeks ago?
That I cannot answer. Because if she did, she know,
right? She knows the rules. I think she
did. But I don't know if she won though. Kamar, I think you might be making that up.
Brittany, didn't you win not too long ago? Don't make me look bad in front of Jimmy. He's never going to forget. He's going to hold it against me forever.
The North never forgets, though.
There you go, lining yourself up with the Keeblers again.
Damn.
Jimmy's going to be a day walker.
Whoa. The Keeblers. White smiles and black kissing. Okay.
Yo, man.
All right, Brittany said it's not popping up. Brittany, when you hit, are you able to get into where your Bitcoin is? Right, go to where you see Bitcoin. Here's how you get to that part. Bottom left of your Cash App, you'll see like if you have money, you'll see how much money is there, or it'll be like a bank looking thing. Click that. It'll show cash, savings, and Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin, if you don't have Bitcoin. It was last year is the last time she won. So Kamari doesn't know what he's talking about. If you have Bitcoin.
Listen, last year was only 4 months ago. So I was right.
You said a couple weeks ago, though.
I said a couple months. I thought I said a couple months.
You didn't say
Listen, I'm hungry and I'm delirious. I need some vittles, man. Stop bullying me, Jimmy.
Anyway.
Stop bullying me, Jimmy.
Victim noises. Anyway.
You're like the colonizer.
Yo, he called me a colonizer. He want to show white men smiling and black men kissing, but I'm the colonizer. Okay.
Yo,
anyway,
all right, man.
Anyway, listen.
Yo, I swear to God, man.
Shoot the email, yo. If you can't, Brittany, if you can't figure it out, shoot the email. We'll figure it out. You said a couple weeks ago. Yes, he did say a couple weeks ago. He did. Mm-hmm. He did. It's recorded.
I swear to God, y'all was raised.
Whose side you on?
Y'all argue, man. Y'all argue like y'all was raised in the same house.
Listen, man. That's how Kamari knows I'm a good friend.
Actually, that's not how I know.
K Diggy. Appreciate that, man. Listen, I'm glad you got the big key. I'm glad you got it, into your cold storage. Let's get to it, y'all. Anyway, y'all have a Brittany, shoot an email if you can't figure it out. If you can figure it out, send that over. We got you.
It's recorded. We got you.
Stay safe. We love y'all. We'll be Sunday morning. We're gonna talk about whatever it may be. It is what it is. Y'all stay safe. Black queens forever. You know what I'm saying? Stay protected out there.
Later, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Protect y'all black